So we got our usual three,
Three, two,
two, one.
clap.
Clap.
How's everyone doing this fine Sunday evening? It is for us guys. It's raining last couple of days here in sunny
Love it.
California. I do love it too, man. But before all that happens, guys, thank you very much for tuning in again to your weekly podcast about comics, pop culture, and all the things of the like. I am one of your hosts for this awesome PS Comics I Love You. I am JR. Kapakun, aka the Dark King, and to my left we have the one, the only.
I am the voice of reason at Voice of Reason 23. I'm Kevin Pillow, aka this week, and for the next few weeks, I am the Jedi Master. To my immediate right or left or up or down, depending on what position he decides to record in this week. He is the Sith Lord. He is the Count. He is, I don't know, whatever you want to call him. So he is Darth Kambakungan, is what I was calling him. That is his name. That's been on the bottom scroll for the last couple of weeks. As we are now into episode 3, the Revenge of the Sith. Some say, most actually will say this was the best of the prequel trilogies. Yeah. And if this is your first time watching one of our Star Wars podcasts, we highly recommend, before you go any further, go back a couple of weeks, whether it be on YouTube or any of our other platforms. Check out our other 2 episodes, including starting with Phantom Menace, or we called it the Phantom Pain, or the last episode, which was on Attack of the Clones, or as JR poetically called it, the Attack of the
Convoluted Storyline.
We've had a lot of fun over the last couple of weeks. This is a watch-along style, so we'll kind of pop in from here and there and talk about the movie that we're playing. So if you are watching on DVD, Blu-ray, whatever it may be, go to the main menu where it has, play, select scene, yada, yada, yada. If you're on digital, you're like on iTunes or Google Play or Movies Anywhere or whatever, go to the main menu where you have screen select, play, whatever. So in the count, we're going to get you with a countdown here in a second. And then we're going to start. We're going to do the 20th Century Fanfare, Galaxy Far, Far Away, and then bam! So we're going to start here in 3, 2, 1, play. I'm watching on my big screen. We got the 20th Century Fox Fanfare going here in the background. And we talked about that last week's episode about what all that means to Disney fans. I should remember, do you remember the old Lucasfilm logo? Or do you only remember the new one?
The current, I think for me, I technically grew up on the new one.
Yeah,
right? The whole weird logo. Like I remember seeing. Wait, no, you mean talk about the full on Lucasfilm?
Yeah, because it used to be 20th Century Fox. Then it would have the Lucasfilm Limited logo, and then it would say "In a Galaxy Far, Far Away," a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, in the blue lettering, and then bam, Star Wars. And there we are, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I kind of pre-watched this one the other day, and I was reading the scroll. This has got to be one of my least favorite crawls. This is convoluted.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course, I mean, one of your least favorites, because like the entire up to this point, the entire series has been kind of like just subpar. So
I will say this: going to see this on a midnight showing, this was the first time I ever cosplayed. Other than Halloween, but I mean, I went with some friends in college and we went and saw this. I was dressed up as a Jedi. I think I had a lightsaber. I can't remember. But I think this is right here. This is a prime example of why we are going to do the Clone Wars, and we are going to come back, kind of rewind after we're done with the Skywalker saga. We will come back and do the cartoons. I will say this: I watched episodes 1 and 2 of season 2.
Told you.
Sorry, bro. I won't say
Oh,
anything.
dude.
I won't say anything.
I'm telling you, bro. Like, what do you think? Actually, just give me what do you think of it? Like,
Have you
just
watched?
like,
Have you watched season? No, no. When I talk about watch, I watched Mandalorian season 2.
oh, never mind then. No.
Sorry, I couldn't wait. Danielle couldn't wait. My wife couldn't wait. I actually got my
Sure.
son hooked on it now. He's all in. He likes
Good.
Baby Yoda. That's his hook. But anyways, but yeah, watching some of these, like the opening scene with Obi-Wan and Anakin,
Mm.
go like, dude, we're missing something, and it's full on Clone Wars right at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. So when I
Yep.
first saw this, like, come on, man, we wanted the Clone Wars in Episode 2. You didn't give it to us. You gave us a tease.
None.
Then you go
Eh,
on like we're in full Deathcom 1
Yep.
with Clone Wars. It's like, dude. And so yeah.
Yeah. It's just the thing for me is that, especially when it started, right now, looking back at it, I'm like, all right, cool, cool, cool. You know, all this stuff's happening. But then coming from the Clone Wars animated series, which that's supposed to be the filler thing, right? I was hoping for like some sort of semblance of it, right? And then just for the like how it just did a time skip from Anakin, who was the Padawan, to now I think a Jedi Knight at this point.
Yeah, he's not
Where
not a Jedi Master, which we find out later in the movie.
mm,
But he is a knight of
mm-hmm,
the Jedi's.
mm,
So okay, we're gonna have that in the background. We'll kind of come in and out of it. Like I said, right now they're in the full Clone Wars. I think this is above Coruscant, which of course is what is behind
yeah.
me. God, I hate doing this, but it seems like every single episode we've done, because we started this show in 2020, and 2020
Mm-hmm,
has been the ultimate dumpster fire.
mm-hmm,
We got some sad news this morning, and
mm,
it is in conjunction with, of course, our topic last week where we talked about the late great Sean Connery, who passed away on Halloween Day. We lost someone who has become synonymous. Here, go with me on this one. Synonymous with Sean Connery, but
mm.
not the real Sean Connery. We have lost
Ah,
we lost a great in the entertainment business, multi time over Emmy Award winner, the host of one of the greatest game shows of all time. He hosted the show for 36 years, talking about the long standing Hall of Famer, whatever you want to call it, Alex
mm,
Trebek, passed away at the age of 80 after
yeah,
subduing to pancreatic cancer, I believe it was.
yeah, pancreatic
Um,
cancer.
Cancer's a bitch. I mean, just really
Yeah,
sucks ass. And
yeah,
Alex was one of the good guys.
yeah, it was.
Um, Entertaining as all hell. I know some will say, "Oh, sure, he just read off cue cards and stuff and did a game show." I'm like, he
Mm,
still had to be pretty sharp to do that show, and
yeah.
his range as an entertainer was amazing. I had forgotten that he appeared at WrestleMania 7, was the special guest ring announcer for Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. Did some backstage interviews with them. Would not be surprised if he gets inducted into the Celebrity Hall of Fame for the WWE. He appeared as recent as a few years ago on How I Met Your Mother, was hysterical on that, basically playing himself. Um, and obviously the longstanding bit that Will Ferrell did, the Celebrity Jeopardy on
Mhm.
SNL, with I can't remember the guy who played Sean Connery
Sean
on there.
Connery. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God, absolutely. And it really made Alex Trebek more of a pop culture icon than he really already was. And it was
Mm.
great to see the one episode where the real Trebek met the Will Ferrell Trebek, and kind of broke down the fourth wall. It was fantastic. But no, an absolute TV icon, um, one of the greats. And like I said, one of the good guys. I mean, did
Yeah.
you ever hear a bad thing about Trebek?
No, no, and I actually the only bad thing per se I would hear about Trebek is like in those like one-off TV shows where their characters would basically go to like the fictionalized version of Jeopardy, right? And like I forgot which show it was, right? But the guy lost money, right? And so Trebek went outside like, hey, you actually owe us like this much money because you lost like the negatives, right? And then
That's funny.
Trebek, right? You like, what the heck? I didn't know it was that. And Trebek started punking him. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, dude. I forgot what show it was, man, but it was so long ago, and that particular one just really stuck with me. So
There was an episode, and ESPN put it on their Facebook page this afternoon. Was the episode, and it's famous, where there's these three contestants, and the last category was football, and they didn't get a single. They didn't even buzz in. From 200 to 1,000, they didn't buzz in once. They had no idea. I'm sitting there screaming at the TV like, "This is the answer." And I'm like, you just look at these people like, "Oh, it's because they're a bunch of nerds who don't know anything about football." And
yeah,
Trebek was sitting there like very kind of condescending, um, giving like, "This is the answer." And I thought it was funny. And he at times was condescending, but it was in an entertaining, funny kind of way. Never meant
yeah,
any ill will, but he
yeah.
will be missed.
He will
And like
be.
I said, 2020 has been an absolute bitch, and we are only in November.
You know.
God,
You
what
know.
what do I even want to dare ask? The rest of November and December are going to bring us?
Oh, I can probably guess, especially with the COVID numbers going up. But then that's just a whole different topic. But and we'll just kind of try to continue on, guys. A little bit more sad news where we got a bit of more movies being pushed back. Free Guy and Death of the Nile being pushed back indefinitely.
Oh, I think Free Guy is going to streaming. I
I
think Free
hope
Guys.
so.
I think that looks hysterical.
Yeah, I hope so.
I
Free Guy, of course. Yeah, Free Guy. If you guys don't know, is the Ryan Reynolds feature where he's called an NPC, a non-playable character inside a video game. And
Yeah,
so this is an MMO video game. So he goes around and like he's basically, oh, there has to be more like this, right? In AI having consciousness, and so that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty fun. And yeah,
total
that's
a
being
total
pushed back.
Deadpool character for him to play.
Yeah, I mean, like if anything, every character is Deadpool now for Ryan
Oh
Reynolds
yeah,
plays, so I'm fine with that. But yeah, it's just more so now that we find out that Free Guy is being pushed back indefinitely. Death of the Nile, which is actually a sequel to the 2017 movie, it was the Murder in the Orient Express, right? That's being pushed back indefinitely as well, and it's from the series. I used to work at a bookstore, and it's Death and Now is actually made from Agatha Christie, who's a prolific writer in her time, even still nowadays, right? She passed away quite a bit ago, but her books still resonate today. And so it's a murder mystery where they follow this Belgian detective, famous Belgian detective Hercule Poirot. Poirot, I butchered the last name, I'm pretty sure, but then yeah, it's a murder mystery plot, and it's in that series where he's on top of the SSR, he's in the SS Karnak cruise ship, and he's trying to figure out who killed who and all that stuff. And so that's being pushed back as well. Both these are from Warner Brothers, and so after the transition going into basically becoming Disney, they're trying to figure out what to do. They were both respectively being released on December 11th and 18th, but now that's up in the air. We don't know when they're coming. Like Kevin said here, they might go to streaming eventually. I mean, I don't know. Murder the Orient Express, or yeah, Murder the Orient Express did good numbers back in his day when it,
yeah,
pre-COVID in 2017, for a movie that's kind of niche now, right? Murder mystery off a book. It
yeah.
did 300 million. It did 300 and so million, but it's like I'm thinking the Death and Now is probably going to do much much worse now because it's one of those movies where you have to be in. They get their numbers mostly from being in the movie theater, so they're probably just trying to mitigate loss and everything from that point. So, but here we are. Both those movies are being pushed back, and we will tell you guys, if they have a timeline for it. Yeah, and also on the topic of Murder of the Orient Express, an actor
Mm.
who was actually in the movie, Johnny Depp, has just been released from his role as Gellert Grindelwald.
Well, he was asked to resign. Well, he
He was
resigned, and it was found
Yeah,
out that he was asked to do it.
yeah, he was asked to be released, and he resigned. He resigned, and he just stepped down from the series altogether. And so Johnny, he made this announcement on his Instagram saying that, hey, I was asked to resign, I was asked to step down, and so I will. And then the what's the is this it's not Sony, it's Sony, but it's Sony Pictures. It's Sony
Oh, it's
Pictures.
Warner Brothers.
It's Warner Brothers, right? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It was Warner Brothers, and they released a statement saying, "Hey, I think we think Johnny. for his contributions to the film. And he will be in the third film, but after that, that'll be it basically. And then
Oh,
he
I thought he
yeah,
wasn't going to be in the third film.
he is because
Oh,
because production was already still far in there.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but then they're expecting 5 films. So
And for those of you who don't know, and we're not going to get too far into it, and it really is tough for two guys to talk about this without coming across to some as
chauvinistic,
chauvinistic
sexist,
or
male.
sexist, or they call us a toxic masculinity.
Mm.
God, we're just such a culture of names.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
don't
Let
even
me
get.
take the let me take that one over. Let me take it over so you get to take it in. So basically, this comes after him losing his libel battle in the UK for I forget which. I'm not gonna say the name. I forgot the name, but I'm not
It was
gonna.
the. I think.
No,
I
no, no,
think it
no,
was
no,
the
no.
UK.
Don't say it.
All right.
Don't say it. They do not deserve the fucking publication. Obviously not, because
F
they
those
won their
guys.
dumbass libel lawsuit due to other extenuating factors. It is because of his ongoing court battles with his ex-wife Amber Heard. Right, he lost the defamation lawsuit, which was basically how do I put this? I don't. I know that the UK has their huge, like, they have at times more rambunctious, I guess, how do I put in a better word? Filth publications that goes on and just destroys celebrities or people in the public eye much worse than the US, right? In the US, you have at least some sort of privacy type of thing,
Yeah.
and but in the UK, it's been known for a very, very long time. I mean, like, the most famous one, the most famous cases to be known about, the type of, I guess, what's the, like, stalkerazzi? Yeah, it's the paparazzi.
Yeah.
Is basically, Princess Di.
Yeah.
That was the biggest one, and so uh, Johnny was setting a libel because of a lot of the all the I can't say lies, but all the accusations being said about him and his wife Amber Heard. He lost, and then because of that, he lost his job basically as Grindelwald.
And it
How do you
was
feel
kind
about
of
that?
it was kind of said too. And I read a bunch of reports like from Nerdist
Mm,
and IMDb that said that really and truly that Warner Brothers all but said that essentially whoever lost this lawsuit was going to get fired. And I'm like, that's kind of crummy,
yeah,
and kind of unfair. And
yeah,
it's been well documented that Amber is a loose cannon. Johnny's no saint.
yeah.
Um, and that was a toxic relationship.
Relationship.
And you
Yeah.
know, I've never heard anything about
Oh,
Johnny that yeah, he wasn't, like I say, wasn't a saint, but he was never, they've never come across as abusive, which a lot of people that are abusive never show their signs. But her
oh,
reputation preceded her that she was a toxic person. But he was like, "Oh, I love her," and just
yeah.
it's just, again, neither one of us are going to come across
Yeah.
looking good in this. So I think I think it's a shame on Warner Brothers. I think this is an opportunity for them to just kind of wipe the slate clean. I get from a PR standpoint, this doesn't look good, but that's when you just go like, guys,
Yeah.
both of you, we're out.
Yeah. Do good. Yeah. There's a lot of other extenuating circumstances in this conversation when it comes to both of them. Yeah, none of them are saints.
No.
Definitely not. But let's not skirt around the fact that one of them propped themselves up as an abuse victim, and then propagated off a
Yeah.
movement around abuse victims.
But
That's the
it's
That's the conversation.
so,
Like, that's the
yeah.
conversation. Yeah, yeah, like if both of them are toxic to each other and they were in a toxic relationship and they're just horrible, a horrible chemistry between both of them, then yeah, we should look at that lens. But then we forget the fact that in 2016, 2017, she came out saying, "Hey, I've been abused. I'm the one." And let's say she probably was. But at the same time, she was also the abuser.
Yeah.
It was it was a somewhat symbiotic relationship between the both of them of them adding on to this crap. And
Yeah.
so it's just the fact that she propagated off of a movement that happened at a time that was much needed, and then said that, hey, I'm an abuse victim as well. So let me be a spokesman for all the abused women when I abuse people myself.
Yeah. This was,
The
and
optics on
she,
that
yeah,
the
she
wait,
used,
the optics on that is just horrendous and horrible, as well as just like you propagate off of that. You got paid to speak at places for that. You then get roles propped up as a strong woman because of that.
yeah,
When you
that's,
yourself are the abuser, like where is the sense in that? That's just crazy to me. Yeah, Johnny Depp, don't get me wrong, he has been an asshole at times. He has been all these things, but you
yeah,
also look at the length of time which he has done to possibly become better from it, right? Like, I hate this whole freaking dumbass concept, like, oh, this person was an alcoholic, this person was a drug dealer, this person was this or that 20 years ago.
yeah.
Like, you think in that time frame they would somewhat get better. Yes, he's been drinking. Yes, he's been doing all this. The one video that I remember seeing, that Amber Heard posted of him throwing stuff around, was literally the day after his mother died, and she wasn't there because she was off partying with somebody else, her friends.
Uh,
And then when she did that video, they finally released the full video of it, and she showed the camera to herself and started smirking because she said, "Oh, I caught him."
and I there are stories I could tell, um,
Yeah,
from personal experiences, not me personally, but people in my life. But I'm not.
yeah,
I don't want to make any kind of liable accusations on
yeah.
the media platform. But it's really unfortunate that real victims, male or female,
Mm-hmm.
um, sometimes can't be taken seriously, because of crap like this.
Yeah,
That,
it's yeah,
and
it's
again, we're not saying that Johnny Depp is a saint,
no,
but there are. I don't want to say have it come across as, oh well, see, he's right there saying boys are boys. There's no excuse for some of the things he did, but
yeah,
there has to be accountability on both sides.
mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
I've had this conversation. I have kids. I've had this conversation with my son. I've had this conversation with my daughter, and it's it's a slippery slope. And like I said, it's not a
Yeah.
it's a long conversation we could have.
Yes.
So with that said,
Mhm.
I don't wish bad things on good or
On Amber.
bad people,
Yeah.
but I'm hoping Warner Brothers do the right
Pulls
thing,
her.
pull
Yeah.
the plug on her.
From what I'm hearing, going back to this point here, from what I'm hearing, the reason why they also took away Johnny Depp's role specifically is because, one, he still had a huge contract, and we're still in coronavirus, and the amount of payment that's gone to Johnny Depp, it eats up in that budget. And the last two, Fantastic Beasts, right? They've been doing decent. They've been doing
Yeah,
okay, but
I
not the
enjoyed
numbers they
them.
expected to.
Oh
The-
no,
but
but you
But
know,
like, here's the thing: when you're Johnny Depp, right? When you're Johnny Depp and you're near that Robert Downey Jr. Marvel money, and that eats into your budget, and that's one
it,
plausible thing I heard from that they could take of. And also on the topic of Amber Heard, from what I'm hearing is that those two movies are it for her. The Aquaman 2 and the Snyder Cut, which she's getting a very lesser role in the Snyder Cut, and so and that might be it for her as well.
which I don't know how you could get any less than she already was, but
I mean, it's Snyder, so that's one thing, and two, the Aquaman. From what I'm hearing, it's already so far into development production wise that they need her anyway, and so we might possibly see recast, and if we do see recast, you'll definitely hear it from us for you'll definitely hear it from here in here, and yeah, it's a possibility that her role will be recast after Aquaman 2, from what I'm seeing and from what's going around in the news wise. So other than that, like, that sounds plausible. Like, she's already tied up to two things: coronavirus happening, and that the ability to find actresses that fit the role of Mera during this time frame. Especially when Aquaman 2 is gonna be started initial filming in January. So, like, that too. So
Yeah.
it's a plausibility thing. I would love for them kicking her out. Yes, absolutely. But at the same time, for them to kind of get a new actress off, literally within a couple months, like a month now, 2 months now, is gonna be a kind of a stretch. It's kind of like in the same scenario of like, what does Black Panther do? Do they will they, if they have to, will they find a replacement for for Chadwick Boseman's character, for Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther? Will we find another T'Challa in a short time frame where Black Panther is supposed to happen? So that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm saying. But
And
yeah,
real quick
guys.
before we get into the last topic and then get into our big main topic, which by the way we're now at the part where we allegedly one of the many incidences where Anakin Skywalker gets the reputation of being this great star pilot. It's where he's intentionally crash landing the big starship into I think it's into Coruscant, but
Mhm.
and they've just saved Chancellor Palpatine from Count Dooku and whatnot. So I did come across this on comicbookmovie.com
Mhm.
where Black Widow actress Scarlett Johansson did an interview um, about the upcoming an eventual release of the Black Widow movie.
Black Widow. Yeah.
And they flat out asked her, do we get the question answered on what happened in Budapest? And she did skirt around the answer, but she did kind of say that fans would lose their mind if they did not acknowledge what
Yeah.
happened in
Budapest.
Budapest. So they
Yeah.
kind of alluded to the fact that we are going to find out in the movie and possibly very early on in the movie what exactly happens in
Yeah.
Budapest for Black Widow. Also, it should be noted I've talked to some friends at Disney who say that they are still not 100% um, ruling out the possibility that Black Widow will inevitably become a Disney Plus premiere release, much like they did with Mulan. The only reason
That'd be
that they
nice.
didn't do it this holiday season was because they were thinking that maybe, just maybe, um, they could get it out in time.
Mhm.
I'm adjusting my light because
Yeah.
I am being blinded by the light. um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I think that for the most part, I think we need to see wait and see on where things go, where they will have a vaccine or
Mhm.
any kind of other drug cocktail that could battle
Possibly
the
work.
coronavirus.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but we will find that out most likely under a new administration as this in the last 24 hours that this podcast was
Mhm.
recorded.
Yep.
The mass media, not by the way, and again for those of you who are um, on the other side of the platform on this, um, oh no, I tapped. Um, just to explain what's going on. Obviously, Joe Biden was
Mhm.
projected to become the next president of the United States, 46th
Yep.
president of the United States. Um, I think only in one incident where the media projected the um, the election results prematurely was, of course, the famous Dewey defeats Truman, where Harry Truman was
Yeah.
declared Dewey was declared
Yeah.
the winner of the presidential election,
That's true. Yeah.
and then of course Harry asked Truman holding up the newspaper where Dewey. I think it's the only time, and for those of you who are looking into where they said, well, what happened in 2000? In 2000, it
Al
actually
Gore.
was declared for Bush, and Gore fought
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the county. That
Florida.
led to the whole King Chad stuff like that. Um, I don't think we're out of the woods yet. Even if there were any quote 2020 hanging chads, it's not going to change things. With that said, the news is that we do have a new president-elect, 46th president-elect, is the former vice president of the United States, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, of course, will become only the second Catholic elected president in the United States history. Of course, the first being JFK,
Mhm.
which was a big deal in the 1950s and the 1960s. That was a huge deal for someone to be Catholic and an elected president. That was actually something that worked against him when he was running. Um, The other thing, obviously, is running mate Kamala Harris becomes the first female vice president in the United States history. She's also one of the first. Well, obviously, she's also one of the first persons of color, as they call it now. That the kids are saying these days. Obviously, she is half Eastern Indian, half African American, and no other person of color has held that role. Now you're thinking, what about Barack Obama? Barack Obama was the president, never the vice president. Also, it should know, I thought this was interesting. Just throwing it out there. I thought it was interesting. Is people have always asked, like when Hillary ran, what will you call Bill? And he jokingly said back in 2016, he wanted to be referred to as Adam. People go, Adam? I don't get it. Well, what do you call the president's wife? The first lady, correct? Well, people were saying, well, you call the husband of the president the first man, so he wanted to be called Adam. So that was funny. But no, we are finding out that Kamala Harris's husband, I think it was Adam something. I can't think of his name now. Yeah, he's going to be referred to as the second gentleman. I thought that's kind of a cool name. I like it. But he is also
very British.
Very does. So that means if Kamala Harris, so does that make him first gentleman when and if a female president ever is elected? Don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But also Kamala Harris's husband is of Jewish descent, which is the first time this has happened where someone of the Jewish faith is kind of in the first and second family. So mazel tov. Anyways, I wish them the best of luck as American. I said the same thing with Barack Obama. Maybe it's not the party that I align myself with, but I want to see people succeed. I don't want to see people fail. That's all I got to say about that.
You know my stance. You know my stance of the president and like our recent, or still ongoing president. My stand on that.
I do hope that he is entitled to his legal recourse.
Yeah,
I'll say that. But I also hope that he does admit defeat with dignity in class and work with President-elect Biden.
I hope so too. It's just hilarious to me the things that he posted back in 2016 about Hillary losing that and should be conceding with grace as he quotes Vladimir Putin.
He's a businessman.
Sure.
Sure. I'll say this right now. He's an asshole. I voted for him twice. He's an asshole. But
he's a sociopathic prick. He's a sociopathic psychopathic. Don't say most. Do not try to normalize this by the fact that other people are trying to do when our president is okay with basically kicking out DACA recipients and being okay with white supremacists. But other than that,
anyways,
maybe he will definitely, hopefully, concede with grace. And I will be taking Joe Biden's words to heart when he said that we should all give people a chance in his acceptance speech of being president-elect.
Yeah.
And so we should look at each other, with hope and seeing each other as Americans. And I hope we get to that point.
I will say that one of the things that I really, really want to, and this affects the show, is it's always been such a confusing rule with the FCC is the internet law that was God dang, I can't think what it was called.
So that's also the choice of that's also what's the name.
I know, but remember you what I'm talking about? What was it?
The FCC. It was basically if to let companies kind of like load up your bottleneck your service. Basically, if you pay premium with their service providers, they will not bottleneck your service basically.
And I'm kind of seeing that right now, which is kind of unfortunate with my current internet provider. Is I've got some smoke and download speeds, but my upload speeds are awful. And so I'm gonna have a little chat with my cable provider sometime in the next couple of weeks, because this is starting to get ridiculous. That it takes me an entire night to edit and upload our videos. So anyways, congratulations to President-elect Biden and the future Vice President Harris.
Mhm.
And we will see where the future goes in 2021. I do hope that we continue to make strides in our medical field in the coronavirus COVID-19 research and any other practical solutions we have to this, because it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
I got to go to church for the
Oh
first time
man.
in person
Yeah.
today, which was nice, and started off relaxing. Then weather decided to not cooperate, and then they almost knocked over a $20,000 screen, which as a tech guy, kind of almost like I was like, ah, shit.
But yeah.
I leaned over to my wife,
Yeah.
like, "Do you know how much that thing cost? There's a couple of commas in it, probably." But
Yeah.
nonetheless,
Yeah, here's hoping that that Joe Biden's run of being president, as well as looking at this pandemic, as well as the economy, is better this go around. So other than that, also it's a much better news. I'm pretty sure you even see this gameplay because they private this video. IGN released a 22-minute gameplay of Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I did not
And
watch it yet, but I heard it looks amazing.
dude, okay, so here's the thing. IGN had the ability to put this on 4K and 1440p, right? And let me tell you straight up, it is the most beautiful freaking thing I've seen a video game do in my times of playing video game ever. The amount of scenery, the crispness of colors and all that it was beautiful. It looked freaking beautiful. And sadly, they they privated the video because it was just that damn good. And yeah, bro, if you want a game to sell you on PS5, that's the game.
Yeah,
That's the game.
and again, it'll be something that I will. It'll be something that I'll have to wait. I will get the Miles Morales game for the PS4, but I think eventually that I will get the version for PS5. I think I'm going to be at least 6 months to a year from the PS5.
Yeah, I think you can. I think there's a free upgrade if you buy the PS4 version
There
anyway
is.
for the PS5. So that's the thing. I want to get PS5 day, launch day, but at the same time, that's just impossible. Let's look impossible. Like I gotta do those one things, but like I gotta order online day of, and then have to buy that, and I have to go to the store that date in order to get it. And I don't see that happening for me. So I got a couple of contacts that might help me out there, but we'll see how it goes, guys. And if one of us, if either of us get a PS5, we will definitely let you know. We'll definitely give you a review of what is going on, how all the the nitty gritty type of stuff that's with your PS5, because we are definitely here to help you out on your buying purchases, specifically for Black Friday and the oncoming Christmas holiday season, guys. Because
I will say this. I'm going to throw this out there because we're going to stick with the Skywalker saga, because we have 9 movies to cover. Well, 11 movies counting the additional 2 kind of fillers, and then we do want to get to Mandalorian. We do want to get to Clone Wars and Rebels. So, but if JR and I are up to it, and I think with my schedule freeing up the week of Thanksgiving, I might be available throughout the day. So we might see some bonus episodes coming your guys' way. So I recommend throwing a little some subscriptions. Really
ring that
out
bell.
There. Ring that bell. Do get the information out there. Like us on YouTube, because we're gonna start adding some YouTube exclusive content on there, and then also like in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that across the board. We're killing it right now on the audio side. The last time I looked at our numbers, we are where is it? Where's our big hot spot? I want to give some shout outs, some love across the board. We are massive in the UK right now. Obviously, big numbers in the United States. We're massive in the UK, Germany, Mali, Canada, the Philippines, and Japan. We are just doing great things, and we want to thank all the people who have listened to our shows on those. There's thanks to our friends at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course Overcast is another one that's available out there. People listening on that platform, and much love to our all of our iPhone and Android users. It's available on all platforms, and I will say the week of Thanksgiving, I am
Yeah,
down for doing some bonus content for the nerd in your life.
absolutely.
We've
Yeah,
got to do a shopping, a Black Friday shopping
yeah.
special, maybe.
Does Black Friday happen in other countries?
Yes and no, only because
Yeah,
obviously Thanksgiving is an
yeah.
American
It's
holiday.
American holiday. Yeah,
I think
I'm pretty sure they call
that
it something else, but like,
yeah,
yeah,
but that weekend is very is kind of crossed a lot of boundaries, and
yeah.
is known as like um the first big holiday shopping spree, whatever. But nowadays,
Mhm.
I mean, there's deals going on right now. Amazon just sent me a link this morning
Yeah.
about stuff.
Yes.
We had Prime Day
Same
last
here.
month, so.
Yeah, same here.
But
But yeah, guys,
yeah,
we will.
we'll do a
Yeah, we'll
bonus
definitely
episode.
get you guys. Yeah, we'll definitely get you guys. Come on, we're all nerds. We all love comic culture. We all love all that. But we're also, we love we love our nice shiny toys, electronics as well, guys. So we'll definitely let you know on the things to look out for, things to buy if they're within your price range. And if you want to, maybe shell up more cash and get that nice new console or that nice new TV you guys want to look at and watch all your Star Wars episodes, Star Wars movies, and so forth with us during these podcasts, guys. But with that, we are going to our main course for the evening, and that is, of course, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Now, right
So,
now, we are in the scene where Anakin is in front of the Jedi Council,
mm,
and I never understood. And again, I know it's a movie; it's not like the real whatever. But
mhm,
I always thought it was interesting that they didn't put. I mean, yeah, they did put him on the council, but did not grant him the title of Master.
yeah,
But
it's Jedi Knight. Yeah.
I never understood the pushback. If they understand that he is the chosen one, that he is potentially the one. I think in the movie, uh,
Yeah.
Yoda can see. He says, "You, I see much fear in you." Why they didn't? Why there was such pushback to have him on the council? I mean, obviously they inevitably do
Yeah.
for
He's
those
just
reasons,
naive.
but
Yeah, yeah. Like from his rambunctious actions, like he just full on dive. Like for to kind of recap the very first, 10-15 minutes or so when they fought Count Dooku and just completely freaking obliterated him.
yeah,
Like the stark contrast of where we saw Anakin, at the end as a Padawan at the end of episode 2 to the beginning of episode 3, basically within the first 10 minutes just kill Count Dooku by himself at that point because we had Obi-Wan. Did he get stuck underneath something, right?
yeah. He got
Dooku
knocked down. Yeah,
he got knocked out. Yeah, that's right. And so it was just only Anakin. And granted, well, the force is a different thing. We should know this at this point, right? The force, you can sense emotion
yeah,
at all costs. You can sense emotion with that. So even after the fight, in the way that and even the way that Anakin killed Count Dooku, which irritated me because I watched the animated series and how the service they did Count Dooku was just horrendous to me. But the way he killed Count Dooku and his emotions after that, and just how his composure was, right? You knew that Anakin was not gonna be a giant master anytime soon. He was still very much felt like just young rambunctious kid who felt like he deserved the title of master without really,
earning it.
kind of like not earning it at the same time. Like, okay, cool. It's it's one of those things where like, okay, cool. If you have a soldier during a war doing tremendous things, but he was still rambunctious, do you want to give him a title of sergeant?
Yeah,
Did he really earn that? Like, it's like Jedi Master should be something that is earned throughout your years, not because of a war, right? And so when I saw that scene specifically in the council, I'm like, yeah, he's not, especially now, like, yeah, he's a kid. He's still very much a kid here. Like he's a kid. Like he's gone through a lot in life. Sure, he's lost his mom. He's killed a village full of children and women twice probably,
yeah.
or we don't know. We don't know. Actually, we do know because I watched the animated series, and we'll get to that later. But yeah, we don't see we see this huge stark difference of who Anakin was in episode 2, right? Well, actually not. No, we see this comparison of how Anakin was in episode 2 and 3, and that difference isn't that varied. He's just stronger. He is just, he's able to handle his lightsaber better. He's able to control certain parts of his force powers much easier. But overall, maturity wise, him trying to focus on just, getting by just brute strength and emotion, that's not the calling of a Jedi Master. And so for me, yeah, I was definitely with Yoda, and I was definitely with Samuel Jack by saying, nah, you ain't ready, homie. You're not
Yeah.
ready.
So I mean, I do like the inevitably they do keep him on the council, but let's go. Kind of give you kind of the setup for this movie. It was released on May 19th, 2005. Rated PG-13, runtime about 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yep.
7.5 out of 10 stars is the meta score on IMDb. The I'm sure that's the IMDb review. The meta score is about
Mhm.
68. That's kind of their version of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
To kind of run down the synopsis of the show. 3 years into the Clone Wars, the Jedi rescue Palpatine from Count Dooku as Obi-Wan pursues a new threat. Anakin acts as
Yeah.
double agent between the Jedi Council and Palpatine and is lured into a sinister plan to rule the galaxy. And of course, we just saw that in the movie about a couple minutes ago. Was Obi-Wan after the scene we just talked about where they reject him off of the council initially. Um, Obi-Wan now says, I want you to monitor Palpatine where we think that there is a sinister plot amiss.
Mhm.
And I think this is leading up to, yeah, this is the infamous scene. They're at the theater where Anakin is in the box with Chancellor Palpatine.
Mhm.
And this is the famous kind of turn to the dark side, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, on the flip side, Obi-Wan is trying to locate Count Dooku and General Grievous
Yeah.
and um, oh, Yoda is going to the Wookiee planet of what is it? Oh God, I can never remember what the Wookiee planet is.
Yeah, I can't remember that either. But
I
no,
just had it.
that
I
was
just had it in front of me. I love the Star Wars website.
yeah.
Um,
I just I I think for me specifically the third movie, there was so much hype going into it because we're gonna inevitably see, Vader
yeah,
again. And I think that's where a lot of the I guess sins were kind of forgiven because we saw Vader finally for the first time. At the end of the scene, spoiler guys, we see Darth Vader.
yeah.
So but because of I think for a lot of fans and just seeing in retrospect now where we give it a better score because we saw Vader and we saw the fight, right? But overall, I would have rather seen Ahsoka Tano. What happened to her? And that irritated me because this is coming from a guy who watched the animated show, where we saw this awesome young Padawan being taken under the wing of the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano, where we have this character growth in a strong female character
Yeah, that
and a strong female character where it should have been brought up to the ranks and finally put on screen on big screen, and she has a story to tell. But for some dumb reason, we don't see her at all during the third movie, like she doesn't exist.
it's like almost like that. Maybe I don't know what they were thinking with that character.
Here's the thing that I think about that character. Oh, hey guys, from episodes 2 to 3, you have about 3 years, 3 years timeline wise. So we're gonna put the filler guys on you, but we're gonna use you, but at the same time, you're not canon. So we're not gonna use you, but use you, so that Star Wars is still a thing. But when it comes to episode 3, you guys are not really there.
This is bugging me now. I know. I'm.
But yeah, it's so a lot of the emotions, and you're gonna hear this a lot from me from this specific episode, where like a lot of the emotions that have supposed to be ramped up from the animated series onto the Clone Wars animated series onto Star Wars Episode 3, was that there was a lot of things, there were a lot of relationships, or a lot of bonds that was connected between those two that should have been there, and it's not there. It was, of course, it was Obi-Wan, and it should be Obi-Wan, and it should be Anakin in that relationship. We didn't see that all again. We didn't see that at all again. It was very much. episode 2 all over again, where Anakin does his own thing and Obi-Wan kind of does his own thing, where it's we have Obi-Wan going to fight off Grievous. And where are you? Which part are you right now on
Right
the
now, we're at the part where Palpatine is
still
telling
trying
Anakin the tragedy of Darth Plagueis,
to?
and he's talking about manipulating the
That's right.
Force, and using it to create life, to stay immortal, and it is in one of the Force. Some's considered to be unnatural. Well, it's one of my favorite lines.
Unnatural. Yeah,
Unnatural. He's so good in this role. Ian McDermott
it,
is so good.
the thing that irritated me about this whole because they're going from the arc of where Anakin was in episode 2 of like, oh, I don't want to lose people, to now, except for the striking fact that 3 years has passed and he's a Jedi Knight, and so therefore when you're a Jedi Knight, canonically, you're still there mentally. You're still there. You're still very much on the light side of the Force. You're pretty much a paladin at this point for the Jedi's. If you're a Jedi Knight, you're pretty much a paladin. So therefore, what your role is. You know where you are mentally and as your mental fortitude goes. And I know people are saying that, oh, well, this is Palpatine. He's a Sith Lord. He's able to really dig into your emotions and brain. Like, yo,
Oh my
the
goodness!
the
I'm just now
transition of
really. I'm sorry.
but
By the way, the
yeah,
Wookiee planet, home planet, is Kashyyyk, and I just realized
okay.
once a freaking again, James Cameron come up with an original idea. Kashyyyk is Pandora is a total ripoff of Kashyyyk, and Avatar doesn't come out for almost 3 more years.
No. I thought Avatar came out much, much, much later than that,
Well, let's see.
didn't
This
it?
comes out in May of 2005. I was in college. I
Yeah.
started working at Best Buy in 2006. I want to say it came out in like about '07. So let's call it about 2 years
No,
later at the most.
it should have been much later because I'm pretty sure because
Oh, I got it.
I watched Avatar when I was still a part of this church I was with in 2009.
Okay, so 4 years after this comes out, even then, so there's no room. And I know James Cameron worked on it a lot. And I know that James Cameron and George Lucas are probably friends, and I'm sure that there was some work
Mm-hmm.
done at ILM and Skywalker Sound and whatnot.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, when they flew into Kashyyyk, I mean, it looked like I was watching Avatar. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, so frustrating with this.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
yeah, you see a lot of borrowed actors specifically from Cameron from a lot of other directors, but that's how it goes.
there's a great line in if you haven't ever seen the movie, you should see it. Is Fanboys. Good, funny, raunchy humor movie based
Mm,
with Star Wars as, at its core. Is these group of friends, they're Star Wars nerds, and they want to drive across country to break
mm,
into Skywalker Ranch to be able to see the Phantom Menace. Obviously, the movie was filmed and released years after the prequel trilogy came out, and in there they meet a character named Nerf Herder, that's his online troll name,
mm.
and they're beating up the main characters, and they say, okay, I'll let you go if you can answer this question. What is the Wookiee home planet? And they're like, no one knows that. I mean, this is before episode 1 had even been released, let alone production on episode 3. And it just goes to show me that information has long been standing out there, that George Lucas has really had this gigantic saga available for so long. And with the extended universe, I don't know when Kashyyyk ever was first acknowledged in the Skywalker saga. I think that this was the first time in episode 3, but I don't know if it was ever addressed in any of the extended universe books. 'Cause I know a lot of that dealt with a lot of the Knights of the Old Republic storylines and post Return of the Jedi, and didn't do a lot of.
Sure there was. I just can't think of it at the moment, man.
Anyways, speaking of which,
Mm.
did you play any of the old PC games for Star
Of
Wars?
course it did.
Oh
Of
my
course it did.
gosh, Knights of the Old Republic, Probably
KOTOR 2. I also played there was that one Jedi Academy game that came out for PC or I played it with friends back in high school where we set up this huge room where we were just playing Jedi Academy. It was a PvP type of player setting where
okay.
you could be any type of Jedi, right? And you had lightsabers. And you're basically Padawans, and you go through this basically death match in certain arenas, and then you just kind of just fight each other. it was
Yeah.
it was your
Oh, there it
typical
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Oh,
was like your typical I guess like regular FPS game, right? With guns like a team deathmatch or a deathmatch type of
yeah.
thing. You have to get the most kills in order to win in a certain time frame. And fun. Absolute fun in the back in the day, man. Jedi I think it was
It is called. I just had it here.
something Academy.
It is Jedi Knight. Academy came out in 2003.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Um,
yeah.
Look at some of these great games. Battlefront just fell flat.
Battlefront. Battlefront
Absolutely.
oh no, the what was the original games on PS2?
On
Oh,
PS2,
yeah, those were fun, dude. The Clone Wars, like Battlefront something, dude. Those games were fun.
there was Shadows of the Empire. That was 1996. Rogue Squadron was
Mm-hmm.
1998. That I believe was for. Oh, let me pull that up. I
Yeah,
remember
it was
that.
it was like originally one of the Lucas Arcs
Oh, that was
Lucas
a Nintendo.
Arcs.
I may have that. That's N64. I think I have it like right outside my room. Oh, Star Wars Dark Forces. That was fun. That was from 1995. That was a lot of fun. I do remember playing Knights of the Old Republic, but I could have sworn there
Mhm.
was an older version of that game, and it was interesting that you got to play as a character that was not a um, it was not a Jedi, so to speak, but you did
Yeah.
get to wield a lightsaber. But
Yeah.
oh god, I'm just
Oh,
trying to.
oh, are you talking about the one that came out recently?
No, this was back in like the late '90s, early 2000s,
Oh,
maybe.
never mind.
So maybe it was. Um, but I can remember playing it when I was a kid, when I was in high school still.
Yeah.
Um, it may. Oh, you know
The
what? Well, their Star Wars Battlefront. That
yeah,
was in
Battlefront for
oh 04.
PS2.
That was
Yeah,
oh
PS2.
04. That is one you're talking about.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
fun game, dude. That one was a fun game.
I don't know if
There
I got
was
to
a
play that one.
there was also of course the Star Wars episode, like three iterations of a video game that came with the movie, right?
Yes, yes.
I actually I was working at when it was EB Games at the time, right? I was working there, and they had we had the booth with the episode 3 playing, and I just played throughout the whole thing, and I just spoiled myself throughout the whole movie. I knew exactly what was gonna happen because that's what happened. Like you fought every boss, you know what's gonna happen. You fought Anakin at the end, and you had like the possible what ifs, what could happens, right? So
Yeah.
I played Anakin at the end, right, and I won the battle, and I became Darth Vader, but no helmet, nothing, just a dark Sith Lord in a getup. I'm like, oh, this is pretty sick. All right, cool. I like it. I like it. But
But
yeah.
no, plenty. I do remember playing. I do remember playing Dark Forces. That was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
I do remember playing a version of. Um, I used to play some of the uh, kind of simulators, so to speak,
Mhm.
like X-wing and Tie Fighter and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
so we have Obi-Wan um has got onto the what is this planet here? Let me pull it up real quick. This is where he finds is it Utapau, Utapau,
Oh yeah,
where he
that's where
finds
yeah, you find Sidious there.
Darth City or Darth right
No,
Grievous, General
Grievous,
Grievous.
Grievous, yeah. General Grievous. He's gonna find him there. He's gonna find him there, and he's gonna. Oh man, what
But
could
now wait,
what the fuck?
go ahead.
What?
Oh, you go
No,
ahead.
no. The fight that could have been between Obi
Yeah,
Wan Kenobi and a Darth Grievous and a General Grievous, where he didn't have forearms, and they were spinny with lightsabers. He was an actual master of the sword, and they just nerfed the hell out of him. Nerfed the hell out of him.
I don't know why I hated this with where he
What?
rides the giant lizard.
Oh,
annoyed the crap out of me.
Why are you running giant lizard and face it? Like, how was a giant lizard fast enough to go against a speeder? That makes no sense. Or whatever the heck Grievous was writing. That weird cylinder type of thing where
And
that's
that
a
was kind of
cool
cool.
thing.
That was cool.
It was cool. But like, how is a lizard fast enough to catch with that? But whatever. It's Star Wars.
What was your did you see it opening night?
Yes, I did. I actually watched it when you said that you cosplayed as somebody, right? I didn't cosplay it, but I did go with a friend who brought a lightsaber.
Yeah.
He brought a lightsaber, like, oh yeah, let's go. Like, all right, cool.
We had I was in college. I'd already started dating the woman who is my wife.
Mhm.
This was mere months prior to me proposing. But she had to work. I went with some friends from the school that we went to. We actually drove all the way out to go. We could not get tickets anywhere in town. We were in school in Fullerton. Couldn't get tickets anywhere in Orange County. Had to drive out to uh, Rancho Cucamonga. Had to drive all the way out to out there to go see the movie. We went to dinner, and I remember there was a guy who was with us who was a fan, but he wasn't into the whole cosplay and whatnot. And he
I mean,
took
yeah.
one of the lightsabers that we had in our group, and he was poking the bear with some kids in the parking lot of this restaurant we were having, this fast food restaurant. And it was funny was he absolutely gets destroyed. So there's a scene in Fanboys, which again you have to go see, and one of the characters gets beat up by a bunch of kids with lightsabers, and that's very similar to what happened to this friend of mine in college. Was he decided, oh, I'm going to go mess with these little kids and see what happens, and he got beat up with their lightsabers. So it was kind of funny. I have photos, but I don't want to.
You don't put on blast like that.
I don't want to put them on blast. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen the guy in
Years.
20 about 15 years. So
I haven't seen the guy since I was married.
yeah. But no, we're at the scene. I thought this was cool. I again was not a gigantic fan of all the digital art and whatnot. General Grievous, though I did not know much about him. Obviously, he came from, I believe, the extended universe. And for those of you who don't know, when we reference what's called the extended universe, because that's a phrase, it's a buzzword that's used a lot in pop culture nowadays. The extended universe is what Disney slash the modern Lucasfilms is calling the books, which is outside of the Star Wars canon of episodes 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9. The Mandalorian seasons 1 and season 2. They have officially canonized the cartoons. Rebels and Clone Wars are both considered to be canon, and of course, Solo and Rogue One are all canon, which means any of the books that date back to the 1980s are what's called extended universe. They're almost kind of like in the comic book world, you have the main storyline, and then you have these kind of like guys that like you have like a J.J. Abrams who wants to write a Spider-Man book, and it's like off to the side. Which, by the way, it's a good book.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything about Grievous. But there were people who knew about Grievous, so I don't know if there was shorts or if there were books or anything that included General Grievous prior to Revenge of the Sith coming out.
Honestly, not to my knowledge. The first introduction I have of General Grievous was actually Clone Wars, the animated series. I forget which episode he was in, man, but he was quite the badass. He was a deep badass.
The first season of Clone Wars come out before
episode 3, yeah.
Episode 3?
Yeah, I told you. That's what I said, dude. Like in between, because of the years between Clone Wars and Episode 3 within the timeline movie line was 3 years. So in that 3 years, there was supposed to be this bunker space of like, all right, cool. What happened? How did the war take place? And they basically said, oh, we'll make an anime series out of it, and that's what happens. And so if you watch the Clone Wars animated series, it will show you the on the boots missions and stuff of what happens. Like you'll go into storylines where you will have Clone War you'll have clone troopers trying to take out a bunker filled with filled with droids. You'll see Anakin and Ahsoka there, right? That will be Ahsoka's first appearance there. They will, help. They will have clone troopers with them as they try to take out Sith strongholds or droid strongholds and facilities. And so that was supposed to be taken timeline. That was their way of filling the continuity, even though that continuity didn't extend into episode 3. So
So
that's what kind of
yeah,
happened.
so chapter 1 of season 1 was released on November 7th, 2003. Like JR said, so this comes on the heels of Attack of the Clones. So yes, Clone Wars. Now, not to be confused with the movie Clone Wars that did the animated feature that came out in 2008. But no, this is the series. Okay, I did not know that. I assumed it had come out after. So this explains why people knew about General Grievous. Now, I am a huge Star Wars fan, but I had a hard time with back then with watching cartoons. That's probably why I blocked it out. Was probably it did come
Yeah.
out and I knew about it, and it was like, oh, cool, Clone Wars. This is what we wanted episode two to be. Oh, but it's animated. Screw it, I don't want to watch cartoons. I think
Yeah.
I think at that point in my life I was too big for cartoons.
Oh no.
But back then I would watch the fuck out of freaking Degrassi Junior High.
Ugh.
No, actually I'd watch just the Next Generation.
Yeah.
Dude,
So like,
dude, sell me on some Canadian melodrama. I'm in, dude.
so that was the whole thing between it. Like, the thing that helped fill in what happens between episode 2 and episode 3 was the Clone Wars.
So I'm
we got.
every time we talk about Clone Wars animated series, I am more and more stoked about doing that episode. And I'm gonna have to sit down and watch it. It is available on Disney Plus,
Watch
including
your kids.
the new episodes that came out exclusive
2008.
for well that they came out with new episodes.
Oh yeah, Rebels specifically, because Rebels
Did Rebels get new episodes on Disney Plus?
It's going to continue the timeline because in the last Rebels spoiler and what happened in the last, I think, Rebels, right? Ahsoka Tano is there, right? And she faces off against Darth Vader. That was the last episode. And so,
interesting.
there you go. We see an older Ahsoka Tano finally, right? She's been there throughout the whole, I think, a good portion of the series, and then you see her at the end facing off against her old master, which she still calls. So
okay, so there we go. We do have Rebels finished in, like JR said, in 2018. It was a Disney XD show. I thought for some reason that they did a cartoon exclusively for Disney Plus, but
I think that was something else.
Ooh, I'm interested right there. Got the Heroes of Mandalore in season 4. Well, I'm definitely interested in seeing that. But no, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. This is the moment where Anakin realizes that Senator Palpatine, Chancellor Palpatine, is a Sith Lord. He is threatening him with the lightsaber. And this is really kind of the turning point of the movie where it kind of just all kind of goes downhill. And I'm really unfortunately about this part of the movie is it's such a pivotal scene because it answers so many questions about Darth Sidious and Senator Palpatine. But it was so overacted.
Of course it was.
God, it's just like, this prequel trilogy could have been so good, JR.
So here's the thing. When I feel again the reactionary thing happened, right?
Yeah.
And this is specifically during a time where they had no internet, and so people, even though and Star Wars still very much is a big internet thing at the time, and I recall a Hayden Christensen looking at some online stuff specifically and saying how his work of being the one Anakin Skywalker was, and him being basically kind of emotionless in a lot of his scenes, and then he tried to overact in the next one, and so it's very much a continuation of overreactions, right?
Yeah.
overreaction storytelling from episode 2 on to episode 3. It kind of sucks because I think that was one of like Hayden. That's like one of Hayden Christensen's very first gigs, right? Was being Anakin Skywalker.
I think so too. I was gonna look that up. I mean, he got some other
Yeah,
pretty good
I'm pretty
roles.
sure. I'm pretty sure it was, but like it's Luke. It's Lucas. It's George Lucas. He wants to get the young up and comers, the ones that barely had any roles. I mean, like look at look at everybody that he casted since then or before then. Like
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean,
about him.
he was in a bunch of stuff. He was in
Life of House, Free Fall.
he was
Oh, he was in
in
Virgin Suicides. That's right.
The Virgin Suicide,
Yeah,
which was isn't that oh gosh, what's her name?
yeah,
Sophia Coppola. Yeah,
yeah.
I do remember watching that movie when I was
Yeah.
in college.
He was in a couple of stuff, but at the same time, like it wasn't like
Virgin
yeah,
Suicide. Let's put it this way: Virgin Suicides.
was his first major role.
That was his first. Like that's a. But I mean, you really look at it between, which is funny. He was in a movie called The Higher Ground. That's kind of funny. I mean, Goosebumps, the
uh
Goosebumps TV show back in the 90s was a big
yeah.
deal. But
Mhm,
yeah, being in Virgin Suicides, which was a independent movie in 1999,
mhm,
was probably the biggest thing he was in, and his career dated back to 1993.
mhm,
But then, yeah, he gets the role. He gets the role of Attack of the Clones in 2002,
mhm,
and Revenge of the Sith in 2005, and really didn't do much after that. He did Jumper, which was um, an underrated film.
mhm,
It's not great, but it's not terrible.
mhm.
And I'm looking at the rest of his IMDb,
Ooh,
and
New York, I Love You. I watched that show. I watched that one. Wow.
really and truly, the only thing he ded was the voiceover in Rise of
Rise of
Skywalker.
Skywalker. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so like oh, he also was video archive recordings, never mind. He was in Star Wars Rebels, that's right, as Anakin, but then those were just voice recordings, so it wasn't really that much.
I
So
was
like
I was
yeah,
surprised why they wouldn't have done the lead. And I get it that actors want to see themselves on screen and whatnot. I was really surprised that they couldn't get Anakin and Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor to do the cartoons. I was really shocked by it. Oh, I know. You want that episode 2 money.
well, here's the thing too, like, well, not even that type of money. Like, if they were expecting millions of dollars specifically for a voice acting gig back in the 2000s, you're not getting much, dude. You're
No,
not getting anything at all.
voiceover work is bigger now. That's what's funny is probably looking back at it. I bet you could probably get
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor to both go like, yeah, dude, I would totally have done.
No, but like
But
you're all, but it's still very much the whole thing. Like there because because I remember specifically the time I was listening to a Vic Mignogna, which I love him as a voice actor, and a bunch of things were like back in the time, dude. They were in that playing field of like, hey, I want to be an actor, but the most I can do right now is being voice acting, right? And when they were working with when they were working with actors trying to get into voice acting, expecting actual acting like money, and that's not the case. That's not you can't really make that much specifically for some of these studios where they don't have it, even though let me see, let me go back to Star Wars, the Clone Wars. I forgot which studio. I'm pretty sure it's still Lucas Arts, but then let me just double check. Star Wars.
I don't know why uh Coruscant obviously is such a massive location in the overarching saga of Star Wars
Mhm.
that it really and truly is only mentioned in these 3 movies. I mean, yeah, there was the throwaway scene at the end of Return of the Jedi, which we will see because obviously we only have access to uh, the special edition versions of the new trilogy, which we'll get to in a couple of weeks. But I don't understand why Coruscant is not acknowledged more for being such a massive city. We know then, based on the scene in the end of Return of the Jedi, that we do know that Coruscant still does exist 30 years later, 30 something years later. That it is still very much a part of. This is another one of them. Banff
No.
scenes for Mace Windu.
Oh yeah. Well, of course it is. But yeah, just going back on the voice acting thing, like
Oh, sorry.
yeah, you're not getting enough money. You're not gonna entice actors who do acting, right, like live action work, to go and yell into a mic for 4 or 5 hours at a time.
Yeah.
You're just not. So I think that was one thing that didn't really entice Hayden Christensen, or let alone freaking Obi-Wan Kenobi to want any part of that. So Ian McGregor, of course, Ian McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, yeah.
I don't know why. I understand that he is a great Sith Lord,
Mm-hmm.
Ian McDermott's Senator Palpatine, but how he was able to
Block.
destroy 3 Jedi Knights, Jedi Masters too, by the way, Jedi Masters, in
Mm-hmm.
just one fell swoop. And also, by the way, this is a much younger Samuel L. Jackson than he is
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
was in Captain Marvel. And of course, people
Yeah.
absolutely lambasted Samuel L.
Yeah.
Jackson in Captain Marvel because of his old man running, because he's supposed to be from the 90s, which means he's supposed to be like in his 20s or his 30s then, but he's running around like a 60-year-old man. I'm watching him. This is when he is actually probably in his 30s, or
Yeah.
maybe his early 40s.
40s. Yeah, early 40s.
And I'm in my early 40s. Am I in fantastic shape? No. I could probably do better than this. My God, he's old man running. He's old man sword fighting. Like, come on, dude. You've been Mace Windu. You've been the Banff freaking Jedi for 3 movies. The only guy in the entire galaxy to have a purple lightsaber, and you can't get into fighting shape. But no, this is the scene too. Now you see Mace Windu has Palpatine pinned down. I mean, couldn't right here. Saga could have ended right here, over and done with. Mace Windu. All you had to do is chop his head off or something like that. But it's like, Anakin, or I'm sorry, Mannequin Skywalker, as they call him the Kevin Smith movies.
That's right, mannequin. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot
Got a
about
little
that.
Clerks 2 callback there.
Yeah, that's right.
And then of course
Yeah.
here we see him with the lightning hand thing, whatever. Obviously him and Count Dooku both
Mm-hmm.
have that force power. We did see that Yoda in episode 2 did have that. Do we see any other Jedi have the ability to
Push.
shoot lightning?
No, that over here, the lightning is actually a dark side aspect.
But doesn't Yoda do it in episode, or does he just do the push,
Doing a
or,
push.
he absorbs it?
He absorbs it, and he does it because that type of stuff is actually a dark side aspect.
It is
It's
a dark feature.
yeah, it's dark feature. Like I forgot what else, another one that was a dark side aspect feature for force powers, but it's distinctly different. And I know that they have like the overall force powers you can possibly do: push, pull, mind trick, choke. Those are within the grasp of, like, I guess, center bar medium like force powers. The more you go to light, the more you go to blue, the more you go red, it differs. But definitely in the red, you have lightning powers, right?
And there we see
So,
Mace Windu get his comeuppance. He gets his arm chopped off. Of course, that was a
fall through the window.
that is a callback to, obviously, um, Luke Skywalker losing his hand in Empire Strikes Back. He chops off his father's hand in Return of the Jedi. Come full circle, Anakin loses his hand in Attack of the Clones, and obviously Mace Windu loses his hand in The Revenge of the Sith. Don't think anybody lost their hand in episode 1, but it was something that when Lucasfilm came over to Disney and Marvel came over to Disney, Marvel did it as a callback to it. I believe it was in phase 2. I think it's in phase 2 that every movie, I'll have to look it up. It's every movie in phase 2 gets cut off. There's someone loses
That's yeah.
no,
Now that I
it
think about it.
it was an acknowledged arms cut off in Marvel movies. It wasn't
Oh yeah, yeah. Sure. It was in phase 2, if I remember correctly. It was
yeah,
Iron Man something. Which I forget which Iron Man movie it was.
yeah, it's there is a full on reference to Star Wars. Um, and I'll have to find it. Characters
That's
that
fine.
here you go. Marvel Star Wars Easter egg, all characters that lose their hand. Um, see, there was um in Iron Man 3, Aldrich
Yeah.
Killian.
Again. Yeah.
Thor loses his hand in Dark World. Um,
That's right. He
Bucky
does.
Bucky loses his arm in Winter Soldier. Um, Groot and Groot gets his arm chopped off by Nebula.
Mm-hmm.
By and I'm sorry, by Groot gets his arm chopped off by Gamora. Nebula also loses her arm in Guardians of the Galaxy. And then Ulysses Claw loses his arm in Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow Jacket loses his arm in Ant-Man. Bucky loses his arm yet again in Civil War. Ulysses Claw loses his arm again in Black Panther. Groot and Obsidian lose their arm in Infinity War. Now these are all, and of course, there was a couple of characters in um, Agents of Shield,
Mm-hmm.
including Phil Coulson in it. So yeah, there's and Daredevil, I believe.
Yeah. Just
There you go. Anyway, so
a lot of characters lost their arms in
but
Marvels because
it was intentional. This is the reason I'm mentioning this is because Star Wars had such an impact on so many pop culture platforms that Kevin Feige, uh, um, Joss Whedon, the Russo brothers, they all of them wanted to get together and they wanted, and Feige came up with the idea, I think it was, said, I wanted to pay homage to Star Wars. I wanted to pay homage to George Lucas because he was a huge Lucas fan. And it's a testament to Kevin Feige's storytelling that he wanted to do this. And that was his kind of like a wink, George, this is for you, buddy. That he did all these arms cut off. So that's whenever you see it, and if it ever becomes like, wait a minute, that's kind of like
so what you're telling me is that if I go out in the street right now, someone cuts their arm off. Oh, Kevin Feige's idea. You had your arm cut off. That's all I'm gonna think about now, Kevin. If I go just somewhere in real life. Oh, you're working with Marvel, huh? Got your arm cut off.
what did you think of
Uh,
obviously we grew up with Darth with the we didn't even know him as Darth Sidious. We just knew him as the Emperor. And the
mm,
Emperor was the shrouded character, very dark face,
mm-hmm,
old, weather beaten.
mm-hmm.
What did you think of the ta-da? This is how his face got messed up. What did you think of that whole scene with him being basically melted, his face being melted into
The thing
uh
is now.
the look is. Did you buy the?
Yeah, it makes sense. Type of thing. Like, okay, cool. Like it was I like I knew it was gonna happen eventually, and I just at this point in the movie, I was like, all right, come on, let's just go. It was dragging on a little bit too long at that point. I'm like, I just want to see the fight. Just want to see the fight. Want to see Darth Vader. That was it.
We
Like
are
overall,
on.
the movie just kind of just let me down because
Yeah,
I just saw two arcs, right? The two pivotal points where like you're supposed to against Dooku and you fight against Grievous, and those two let me the hell down. And so I'm just like, my head like just keep on going. We got one more fight to get to. Let's see what happens.
we are at the scene where the clone army has now come to that planet with the lizard and General Grievous.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the big part. Commander Cody, the
Mm-hmm.
time has come.
Order 66.
Execute Order 66. And this is where Palpatine, and this goes to the what we mentioned in episode 2, where the clones are programs and are engineered a certain way, and we don't know that they have this built in. Of course, now here's another. This was a sad moment where you had the one of the Jedi masters leading a clone army into battle, and they turn on him. It's the dude with the big old cone head.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with names.
Yeah.
But
that was a crazy betrayal scene that I saw. I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't know if I was ever at that point in the movie. I didn't know like if I was ever gonna be like surprised. That definitely surprised me. All right, cool. You know how does the Jedi Order basically become extinct at that point? We still have a lot of. I'm thinking in my head like, all right, cool. So we have Anakin going to the dark side at this point.
I always thought it was funny. So they show in the jungle scene with the girl. It wasn't your girl.
She was a Twi'lek. She was a different form of Twi'lek. She was blue. Ahsoka is red. I think like orange red. Yeah.
But they show her being blasted at least like 12 times, and then Lucas pans out and they're like they unleash on her, but it's covered, shrouded in this like kind of like mushroom or whatever. It's like, oh, we don't want to show you this, but you just showed her get blasted 12 times.
Well, crazy thing, if I remember correctly, there was a side story where I think she survived.
Huh.
Yeah, it was either her or someone else, another Jedi Master survived Order 66. And so I forget, I don't know if it was her or someone else, but like they legit showed her. Bless you. They showed her, it was on screen.
I tried to have that time perfectly.
It's gonna be on thing now. It's gonna be on.
Oh well, my bad.
But like they showed her on screen getting blasted, right? And they said that she survived. She survived. I'm like, oh crap, okay, I gotta read this story. I forgot where it was though. I forgot which story it was though. But yeah, the Order 66 part was always intriguing me because like I was figure out how did Obi basically become? How did Obi and Yoda become the last Jedi, basically? And then we have a massacre. I'm like, that makes sense.
And we just saw the part where Yoda senses, which by the way, I forgot that there were clone troopers with
Yoda.
Well, no, with the camouflage.
Yeah,
This is the roughest scene.
Oh, the kids.
Yeah.
Even the kids, Anakin. Again.
I mean.
Wait. When your wife goes, you kill all the kids again? When is it the first time? When she finds out this is the first time you killing kids, there's a problem. There's a problem in your relationship when you're like, oh, but there's also a problem with you if you can forgive a guy for killing kids.
They don't show it. Obviously, they don't show. They don't actually show Anakin, and then of course here you see Senator Senator Organa.
Yeah.
There's been a rebellion, sir. So okay, it's time for you to leave. Okay, I'm out of here. I got to go do NYPD Blue again. I can't mess up my face. Walk away, Jimmy Smith. Walk away.
But yeah, it's it was always intriguing me, like that point of that point of the film, like just really kind of like just not, I can't say maybe distraught, but like it definitely like, oh dude, what the heck? How are we gonna come back from? How are we gonna do Clone Wars? How are you gonna do Clone Wars animated series continuation? Because during the animated series, we have a lot of like relationships being formed between clone troopers and Jedis. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, yo, these during when the whole scene's happening, like, yo, these guys had a lot of battles together. All of them. And then out of nowhere, he's like, all right, Order 66, all right, cool. Let me go shoot this guy that probably saved my ass like 1,800 times. And they shoot him in the back. Oh, that's crazy. Funny, there was also a comic book that actually brought upon that, where a clone trooper came back to his senses.
Yeah.
Came back to his senses and like realized that he shot one of the Jedi that helped save him. And he was going through this mental struggle of like why was this able? Why was I able to do it? Why was I so okay with this? And then he became up and he left and he became a farmer. It's crazy. He became a farmer, and then and then the Republic came back again to his farmland, or where his nearest farmland, and he finds him again. It's a crazy comic book story,
Wait,
which helps seal certain things in.
you
So,
know, I thought it was interesting too. Was again, I didn't read the extended universe. I didn't see the
mhm,
Clone Wars. I didn't see anything that led me to, and of course, the famous blockader we see here that we see at the beginning of A New Hope, and of course,
mhm,
we see it at the end of Rogue One. It's Organa, Senator Organa ship.
mhm.
Um, when I marked out for that scene when I saw that, I was like, yes, the blockader. Um, but oh god, I just forgot. I thought that was interesting was the other thing too, learning about Kashyyyk, the home planet of the Wookiee race,
Yeah,
was that a lot of what we thought as kids that Ewoks were small versions of Wookiees. And they never addressed either way. They never say
yeah.
that it's that Ewoks. They don't address what Ewoks are. They don't address what Wookiees are. And I
Mhm.
remember being kind of disappointed when they said that Wookiees are, they grow up to be. They're not Ewoks. They're their own race. Going, no, 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 no. That's not true. But again, having not seen um, the holiday special,
Mhm.
I know that there actually are baby Wookiees and they're not Ewoks.
Yeah.
So, but no, I remember being disappointed in that, in learning that Wookiees were not
We're-
grown up Ewoks.
oh man, must have broke your little heart.
What'd you think of the addition of Kashyyyk and the Wookiees, and most specifically Chewbacca? And our first
Honestly, at the time, I didn't care.
didn't care,
I
kind
really
of
didn't care.
indifferent.
It was more so one of those things like, all right, cool. Just I was it 2000? Yeah, it was 2000. Those are the time where like I just okay, cool. I wasn't as big as a fan of Star Wars as I am now, right? Type of thing. Where like I saw it just to see it, you know,
Oh,
at
okay,
the
gotcha.
time.
It was one of those like
I
I
saw
have to see this.
I have to see it, right? Because I'm now invested into the point where like, I wasn't as invested, right?
Yeah,
As I am now, even though I did watch even though I did watch anime series, I watched it with my cousins, right? And I
yeah.
know the storyline and I'm invested to the point where like I have to watch it. I have to watch it. So undergoing the fact that, oh cool, I know the Wookiees home planet, like I don't care. I just saw a bunch of clones kill off Jedis. That's what affected me more. I'm like, I like you just killed off a bunch of Jedi's, and now how is I forgot which sergeant that was specifically in or commander that was specifically in the animated series, right? I'm thinking like he was friends with this Jedi for a very long time, and he probably shot him in the back now. I don't care where the hell. I don't give a damn where the freak about the Wookiees' home planet. I don't give a shit. I really don't. I just saw a bunch of allies turn against each other and kill each other. I didn't care. I didn't care one bit.
Yeah, looking back at it, I see like even like the addition of R2,
Yeah,
C3PO,
that's
Chewbacca.
yeah,
They're they feel shoehorned in. They don't
yeah, yeah.
feel natural.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
like, I just saw a massacre and Anakin just probably killed kids again.
yeah, like
I'm like, okay.
I was
I was just
okay.
it's just the weirdest starkest like dude, like it's just a stark difference of like massacre to hey, there's R2D2.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to feel?
Um.
It's like if you give a crying kid a cookie, right? You hit him in the
Oh,
face. Here's a
that's
cookie.
yeah. That's exactly right.
Like,
Um.
okay.
I did like I said, I did like the addition of Jimmy Smith's character with Organa.
Mhm,
I think it subtly told a very important story. Obviously,
mhm,
what we will find out later in the movie.
mhm.
I remember not liking Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan either. I don't know why. Um,
I
like okay, when he was episode 1, I didn't mind
mhm.
it.
Yeah, of course not.
I just knew him as
He
the guy from Train Spotting, and
yeah.
I was like, oh, good. I like to see this actor because I saw Ewan McGregor, being in movies like Train Spotting and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and he was just like this. He always kind of came across as this.
Well, hello there.
Well, it was just kind of like this. What's the word I'm looking for? He kind of came as a crackhead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he
Yeah.
looks like he could be a good actor. I want him to
Mhm.
be. So it's kind of like, okay, he's getting some solid work now. Okay,
Yeah.
he's going to get off the drugs, not knowing that the roles he was playing he was playing a role of a crackhead, not
Mhm.
actual.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Eh,
I liked him in the first movie. Second
yeah.
movie was okay, and the third movie, I'm like, okay, you're going to tell me that between the end of, you know, Ewan McGregor is looking like he's in his late 30s, early 40s,
Mhm.
and you mean to tell me that he is going to become an old man in his 70s, played by Alec Guinness, in such a short amount of time because we're obviously going to find out that the twins are born in this movie, Luke and
Mhm.
Leia.
Mhm.
And what's Luke and Leia supposed to be in New Hope? What, early 20s?
Possibly. So,
So
the
I,
yeah.
I
There's a
don't know.
constant. Here's the thing about that. There was a constant. There was definitely a continuity thing where it came with the with just trying to wrap things up because one, the extremes of what you have to do as an actor, right? The stunt work you had to do in episode one was intense, was massive,
Yes.
specifically for that, right? And of course, you had to get someone younger. Uh, It was just them retconning. Like we've seen so much retcon in everything in the last like 10 years now, which it didn't surprise me where they had a retcon. Obi-Wan's age. Maybe he was supposed to be a little bit older. Maybe he's supposed to be a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Maybe Guinness was supposed to be a little bit younger, right? But like when we because when we first see Luke, yeah, he's looking like that 18 to 20-year-old kid,
Yeah.
right? And his dad is around supposedly supposed to be around the same age as Luke was, right?
Yeah.
When he was supposed to become Jedi Master, right? When he became Sith Lord, right? So it doesn't surprise me. And just the aspect and just the on the context on the topic of Ian McGregor, I feel like Ian McGregor was a couple years too early to get his own movies, specifically Star Wars. That's what I felt like.
Yeah.
It felt like the person that was supposed to get the first movie was I forget his name, but who played Qui-Gon Jinn?
Oh,
Um
uh, I just completely
yeah,
drew a blank.
right, same here. But yeah, him, right? He
Liam
was supposed
Neeson.
to Liam Nielsen, yeah, like Liam Neeson was supposed to carry the first movie because he was the veteran actor, right?
Yeah.
And he did amazingly.
Oh yeah.
There was a certain like back and forth between Ian McGregor and Liam Nielsen because that felt copacetic. That felt really good. Their relationship together felt really good. They were on screen together for most of the freaking time. So why then is it such a stark damn difference when you have Ewan McGregor do his own scenes for majority of the movies by themselves, and the only time you see both him and Hayden Christensen is when in a couple of scenes in the beginning of the second movie, and a couple of scenes at the end of the movie, and then here the same thing in episode 3. You see them a little bit in the beginning of the movie. They're there a little bit again, I think in the second, in somewhere in the second part of the film,
Yeah.
and then another you see them at the climax. Like if there is we were supposed to be given this whole thing where in both in both movies, right, in both movies, in the no very first movie, this thing of like have you must have two actors together, right, two actors
Yeah.
together to basically kind of work to bounce stuff around each other, right, to see how that goes. It's supposed to be originally supposed to be E. McGregor and Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Right, the second movie and third movie. That never happens. And that's why I think for you and for me, even McGregor at this point of his career shouldn't have tried to hold the movie on his own. Because obviously Hayden Christensen couldn't hold the movie on his own.
No. No. That's been.
Obviously not.
All right, we're seeing now. We're seeing. Speaking of Hayden Christensen, we're seeing Anakin basically take out the Viceroy
Oh
uh,
yeah.
and make the full turn to the dark side, and then it switches
Mm-hmm.
back to Chancellor Palpatine, who he now
Mm-hmm.
has revealed himself to be Darth Sidious, but not
Mm-hmm.
to the Senate. Um, and he realizes we're going to reorganize the rebellion, or what does he say? The Senate
Well,
into the first
yeah,
galactic empire.
yeah,
So,
the Empire. Yeah,
and then of course the famous line. So this is how liberty dies,
yeah,
with with thunderous applause.
yeah.
Obviously that line has been used a ton of time over, but
Mm-hmm.
um, but I remember we talked about this in the first episode of our Skywalker saga marathons, that the duel of the fates um, between Darth Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan was like just an end all lightsaber battle. That's where
Yeah.
we knew that the lightsaber battles had really come to the 20th century, beyond what we knew between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in A New Hope, what we knew
Mm-hmm.
between Luke and Darth in both Empire and Return of the Jedi. This was like a whole new level of lightsaber battles. And I remember for 3 movies, the build up to this latter half of of Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, I would look at my watch or my cell phone at the time and go like, okay, we've been at this for a little over 2 hours. I've always been told that the battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin is going to be 45 minutes. So I remember me and my buddies were all sitting there in the row, just going like, oh my gosh, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? And we just felt the build up to it. And it's like same thing. We're sitting here as I look at your background on your Zoom right now, going, okay, it's taking me back to watching it. I've seen this movie
Mm-hmm.
at least a half dozen times since '05, but it is kind of taking me back, going, okay, when does it get to the end? It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot there was so much drama between Order 66 and the Battle of
Yep.
Mustafar. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah, it's it was just, again, it felt like it was at this point 2 movies put into 1 movie.
yeah, a lot of them were like that.
The first 2 movies were like 5 movies brought into 2 movies. This one felt like, all right, cool. It's a little more digestible in comparison to the other two, because you have this, just to hear this, just your fact of how easy Anakin turned, kind of set me off, at that point. Because even though we know the pedigree of Darth Sidious, of
Darth
yeah,
Sidious.
Darth Sidious, that's Sidious, yeah, Darth Sidious, like, we didn't know exactly what he was capable of on screen, right? Yeah, like you said, we don't know, how did he take down 3 Jedi Knights by himself, or Jedi Masters by himself. How all these things were somewhat uh somewhat um somewhat hinted at in the Clone Wars, but we never really see full action of it out, right? Was he this huge Jedi master, or this huge, lightsaber master? Was he
Yeah,
just focusing work? Was he just focusing work on his force powers? We didn't really know. And so for me, the whole thing kind of like, I kind of just got turned off. This just from the sheer fact that, oh man, Anakin really is a dumbass and just switched sides really fucking fast. That was, to me, that I granted, like, I knew that was gonna happen, because we all knew it was gonna happen, but like the way it happened, and the fact that it was so easy for him to turn, comparison to the second movie to this movie, and it just, the buildup wasn't there for me when it came to that point. The
I
only thing
remember.
about the buildup was just the fact that, okay, there's gonna be a fight. There's gonna be a
Yeah,
fight then.
I remember. You've been talking about this line tonight and in the last 2 movies as well. Most
Mm-hmm.
specifically, this movie and the last one
Mm-hmm.
was the line that Padme just had and said, "Anakin, no, he couldn't. Not him." About he killed when Obi-Wan tells her that he
Even
killed
the
younglings.
youngling.
So I started thinking about this though.
Mm-hmm.
Is there's 2 trains of thought now. Is Padme naive? No, he couldn't kill younglings. No, because she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Obi-Wan now knows that she's pregnant. So could it be that she's just trying to be naive, saying, "Oh no, Anakin's the father of my child. There's no way he would kill young people," or is it her trying to hide? And he kind of shows to the latter there that he is what's it called? The word I was looking for. That she's trying to hide the fact that he has already come out to her, saying that he killed innocent women and children in the Sand People scene from episode 2, and maybe as a former politician, she's going like, I don't want to be persecuted. I don't want to be prosecuted. I want nothing to do with this. No, I don't. He would never kill children, even though in the back of my mind he did. He admitted to it. So it is kind of an interesting scene. Like back then when I saw it, I'm like, wait a minute, why would she say that? She knows firsthand that he's killed children before.
Yeah, here's the reason why. It's worse than naivety or not wanting to be associated with it. It's much worse than that. It's called bad writing.
Yeah.
Bad and horrid writing for an amazing actress of her time, and how you then just you basically put her as a damsel in distress character.
What do you call that?
As a damsel in distress character of all. I forgot what.
You had a name for it. Isn't it called like a Mary Jane?
No. The Peggy Sues are are different. The Peggy Sues, they are the answer to every problem.
Oh, okay.
And then sadly in this case, Padme is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because in this sense, she's gonna be the problem, which sets Anakin to his dark side fully, embracingly. And it just how they written her specifically from episode 2 to 3 is just bad.
No, really. She was amazing in episode 1.
Episode 1, I didn't say 1. I say episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that it was going back and seeing where she came from.
Yeah,
and again,
she was great. Yeah, because
she was great.
For some dumbass reason, the second year relationship, you've become a Disney princess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that happens, but the second you are a female character in a action movie or a sci-fi movie, specifically back in the 90s, early 2000s, you become a Disney princess. I don't know how that happened.
I will say this is one of my favorite costumes, one of my favorite outfits that they put Natalie Portman in. It is very much akin to what we see Leia wear at the end of Empire. So I do like a lot of what the wardrobe people did. I think if there's some credit deserved, some some award to be given. And have a look at this. This movie was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Achievement in Makeup. It was nominated. It did not win. It was nominated for that was a DVD award. I don't think it really won anything in the major award seasons. I'm not even looking to see if it won any Razzies.
No. Actually, it might have been. I think Hayden Christensen was up for a Razzie. I don't know if it was in episode 2 or 3.
No, it did win an MTV Movie Award.
For best fight scene or something.
Best villain, and for Hayden Christensen.
I guess.
But yes, there it is. Worst supporting actor Hayden Christensen, Razzie Awards in 2006.
Yep. Right.
But you know what? So, the makeup, duly recognized. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, like the one thing that Star Wars always gets right is basically their aesthetic.
Yeah,
they always get their even if I don't like the current or the trilogy that has passed, their setup was actually really good. Their aesthetics were really good. Just having all the uniforms pop out, even though it was kind of very militarized form, it was just them basically the same thing. But yeah, specifically episode 1 or episode 7. Yeah, episode 7. Well, specifically Ray and all the people in I forgot in Tatooine look really freaking good.
Oh, and I loved one of my, you know me, I'm a music fan, and I really enjoyed. They did a trailer, I think, to the when they introduced Ray kind of in full form,
Yeah.
and they played Ray's theme, and I really enjoyed it. And we'll get to that when we get where we're about 5 movies away from getting to Force Awakens. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, which is funny because we've always kind of had a little sore spot for Ray. But I did enjoy her costume. And like I said, it's so funny. I was watching a kind of a mock video on the Star Wars movies, and they were making fun of like it's so simple. It's like you wear a tan shirt and a brown trench coat, and you're a Jedi. There was like Hayden Christensen's costume right here as Anakin. The brown costume, I really like that because it does kind of play with, okay, is he good guy, is he bad guy?
Yeah.
But I've always enjoyed what they did with Padme. Your new empire. Oh, this is one of the was. I don't know. That was like the part. Democracy.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Like at this point, I think we'll see the fight scene between Yoda and Sidious, and we're gonna see another fights between Obi-Wan and Anakin. But
here it comes, like that's only Sith deal in absolutes. It's
he
funny.
was just your best friend. Like, how are you gonna do that? You're not gonna talk about it, bro? Come on.
JR, if I knew that you choked out Natalie Portman, I'd have no other.
Wait, what are you talking about choke out though? What are you talking about choke out though? Like, hey,
I would have to bitch slap you with a lightsaber.
Because your version of choking out, my version of choking out, 94 is very much different.
Oh my goodness, you went right past my innuendo and went right to yours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
And this is the part of the show. Then this is the point of the show where they're definitely gonna call us sexist.
Oh, JR. Oh my goodness.
Hey man, Natalie Portman, more power to her. She is a beautiful and strikingly beautiful woman. I definitely had a crush on her.
Oh yeah,
when I was super young. So hey man, I don't back up, bro. But yeah, Natalie Portman, knockout, and she was knocked out. And they could have done so much with her freaking character, and it irritated me. You're talking about the mother of two of the best characters to grace all basically sci-fi films, and you have her mother be put into an semi-induced coma leading up to the birth of her 2 children, and having her die afterwards. Good job. Good job. But yeah.
So we are now in the midst of 2 great lightsaber duels. We have Darth Sidious and Yoda, Master Yoda, and then of course we have Anakin and Obi-Wan, the lightsaber battle to end what we thought would be the end all lightsaber battles, but of course it ain't. But oh, I hated that scene. Oh, it's the scene where Yoda just force pushed.
That
and he falls over the desk and like just it was like the most like, dude, this any other movie that's in the blooper reel of him falling ass over tea kettle at his desk. But no, they left that. It is so ridiculous. Here is the Galactic Emperor. Here is the one of the most insidious characters, no pun intended, and you make him trip over his desk on a force push. Like, force push him and have him just go splat against the wall. But no, he's got to.
I just saw it again on his chair.
Dude, are you watching it too? Or are you doing
Yeah,
it?
yeah, I'm watching. I'm just watching that scene right there. I just want to see that
Oh,
scene.
by the way, did I show you my gear there?
Oh
Finally
yeah,
showed up.
finally, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted it.
FUfanatics.com and FUMLBshop.com paid freaking extra to have this thing 3-day ship. Showed up a week later. I ordered it. They hadn't even given the trophy to the Dodgers yet, and I had that stuff ordered online. I said,
Mhm,
"Screw it, I'll pay it. I want my hat. I want my shirt. My hat's out right outside." But
mhm,
I ordered a hat, a shirt, and a mask. The mask will
mhm.
be here sometime next week. But I said, no, I want 3-day business shipping. Took them
Mhm.
over 7 days from point of ship, and it was only coming from Ohio. But I will
Oh,
say though,
there you go.
they I will throw them on blast right here. They did, but at the same time, they did stand up to their mistake, and they gave me more than 50% back
That's good.
on the shipping costs. But I was pissed, man. I'm sitting here like I'm watching people on TV and on Facebook and stuff have their Dodger gear, and I'm like, I can easily go buy it at Lids, but no, I ordered it on Fanatics. Never do it again. Screw you
Yeah,
guys. I'm going home.
that's happened.
Um,
Yeah.
I gotta say, when you weren't a big Star Wars fan
Mhm.
back then, but when you left the theater, um,
Yeah.
were you? I mean, what was like your thought process? 'Cause I ran home and watched freaking A New Hope. Now,
I
granted,
felt
we came home
yeah.
at 2:30 in the morning. By the time I got back home, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. But
I felt like I had to feel what I felt like during Spider-Man 3. Uh the um the uh the Tobey Maguire's, right?
yeah.
Like I felt like I had to trick myself to believing that it was good.
Yeah, I
Because
did.
I wasn't because investment like I had to like oh I was heavy into Clone Wars animated series. I was heavy into certain characters. I wanted to see what they would do after this. I would love to see Obi-Wan more, and the fight scene was good.
It it
The
it
fight scene was good, so yeah, I might paying $11-12 for a ticket. No, I think at the time it was like $8. Paying $8 for a ticket at the
yeah.
time was worth it. Yeah.
I will say this. It's funny you should mention that um about Spider-Man. I remember watching. I was working at Best Buy at the time, and we
Mhm,
were really pushing kind of a connectivity aspect. This is like before you could go and buy devices at ease and make a smart house in like under $1,000.
mhm,
Back then it was like, oh my gosh, like you want to make a smart house, you want to be able to give commands to artificial intelligence, like that was going to cost you thousands of dollars. And but we did had a little display with the original Apple TV. That was my big contribution to the new connected house. And I remember the only content at the time that I had were these trailers that we loaded onto the Apple TV. And one of them was the trailer for Spider-Man 3. And I remember we watched it over and over. And Spider-Man 3, and we watched the original Iron Man trailer. And I remember watching the Spider-Man 3 um, trailer going, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome. The freaking open the bell tower, Venom making his appearance. It looked awesome. Then the movie came out, and I was like, oh, this is a reach, man. Like, oh no, yeah, that part and the other part, Jr.
oh God.
was the snowboard, the Green Goblin on the snowboard, and just him cutting
Oh
through, cutting through,
yeah,
through alleys and stuff. And I'm just like,
you
oh
had
my,
yeah, when you have three big fight movies in one movie at the time, that was too much.
it
I
was
think
too.
that yeah, for its time and first era, because there was no such thing as pacing in superhero movies at the time,
No, there wasn't,
right?
and you could tell looking back at it, going, this was a force fed. Oh, this right
Let's
here
just work
is,
on jazz, guys. Oh, dude, we have a Spider-Man 3 movie
yeah.
podcast. We should work
This
on
right
jazz the whole
here
time.
is cinematography at its finest. this fight scene, the choreography, the cinematography, the effects, they finally got it fit right. Was the with the I mean, there's some effects that show their age, but for the most part, there was a great scene in it, and it was let me see if I have it. I think I have it as it's one of the promotional photos for Star Wars. And again, if you are a a YouTube watcher, it's this scene right here we just saw, and such a great shot. Lucas and the cinematographers and everyone did a fantastic job at setting up that sequence right there. And I'm watching this, and again, as much as I've shit on the CGI for the last 3 movies, and it does not end. It hasn't ended yet. We still got, where are we at in this one? We're about where to go? About 20 minutes left in this. That almost kind of made up for the effects.
Yeah, I mean,
could this be one of the greatest fight scenes ever?
No.
Oh, come on.
No. It barely beats out. Barely beats out. Well, I put it a little bit. I put the very first fight scene, episode 1, just above it, just from the sheer fact that one, Hayden Christensen doesn't know how to fight.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan Kenobi barely knew. Oh no, and Ewan McGregor barely knew how to do it. Specifically, the training vids they did in between episode 1 to now is vastly. I can't say vastly different. It was there. Sword work was, fight work was there to a certain regard, but like there was never anything on par to what we saw in episode 1, fight wise.
We should do an episode on fight scenes on genre films, because I mean, you could put,
bro,
yeah. You could put on here. Okay, here's the ugly side. Here's the ugly side of the CGI where they were floating on those little pieces of garbage in the hot lava.
Yeah.
Is, you're right. The Duel of the Fates was probably much better because you had Ewan McGregor, who genuinely took the art of sword fighting serious. I mean, he talked about to this day. He was on, like I said, he was on Graham Norton probably a few years ago, and talked about, like, he still remembers some of his training.
Yeah.
And
that's like Hayden Christensen. He, don't get me wrong, he's great. He does great doing his own choreographed fight scene stuff. But when it comes to like another person there to, give his own hits to make it look real.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like we missed Darth Maul. Because he can fight.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you have
an actual stunt person that knows how to fight. Do it. And so that's the big thing. And so if we are going to do, I definitely want to do it as well. If you are going to do, break down fight scenes and what our favorite fight scenes of all time are, most of my stuff are going to be East Asia fight scenes, because those guys actually hit each other.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, I thoroughly enjoy. We did a whole marathon. We had my brother and I had a friend of his over when we were in high school. I think it was my senior year. And here we come. Here's the big. I have the high ground. You underestimate my power.
You underestimate my power, Anakin. I have the mother effing high ground.
And then he cuts him in half, or he cuts his legs.
Flippy, spinny.
Going back to the fight scenes.
Yeah.
I remember was when, God dang, I can't remember what movie it was. We went to Video Depot. And for you kids listening, Video Depot was a video rental place when they used to come on these things called cassettes. We went to Video Depot, and we basically went to the clerk and said, what do you got in Jackie Chan? And we rented everything. And I remember when we watched, we figured it's play fighting. They're not really hitting each other. And then we watched the bloopers, because all the Jackie Chan movies have bloopers at the end. And you realize, holy crap, dude, they either come very close to hitting each other, closer than any other fight, or they actually hit each other. And more often than not, with Jackie Chan, he hit people.
I'm pretty damn sure Jackie Chan right now is, as the actor, has the most broken bones of all actors of all time.
Oh, hands down. No, I would be down to rank our favorite fight scenes. I mean, I would from a fight scene standpoint and just the way it was shot. I really enjoyed the battle between Bucky, Captain America, and Iron Man in Civil War. Just from the framing standpoint of the scene where he does the blaster and the shield, and of course it was very iconic to the comic book. I enjoyed, I mean, just from recent memory, obviously the fight scene between Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, and Thanos. I loved a lot of what we saw in the Jackie Chan movies, more so like in movies like Rumble in the Bronx and whatnot, not Rush Hour. God, I'm trying to think of some other good fight scenes. I've never seen Crouching Tiger.
Bro, okay.
I know.
So we're gonna have to sit down and make you actually watch some actual martial arts films.
Yeah, never seen Kill Bill 2. I've only seen Kill Bill 1.
That's fine. Kill Bill 1 is probably the better action movie, while Kill Bill 2 is the Tarantino movie. If you know what that means. So, but yeah, for me, when it comes to action, like my standard for fight scenes, specifically if you want to take your stuff seriously, is anything from Raid Redemption.
From what?
The Raid Redemption. It is a Indonesian film.
Gotcha.
Where I'm just gonna send you some clips, and I'm gonna show you, and that's how you break down an actual fight scene. If you want, don't get me wrong though, Jackie Chan is definitely the best group fighter of all time for scenes.
Oh yeah.
And probably the most overpowered mother effer for fight scenes is probably gonna be Tony Jaa in Muay Thai. No, in the Protector specifically, in Ong Bak 1, but Iko Uwas and his films, specifically The Raid and Raid 2, bar none. Absolutely bar none.
I'll have to do some research on this one. Well, and again,
wait, this is how freaking awesome he is. The director, the director who choreographed that scene was brought into Civil War to choreograph those fight scenes.
Oh, okay. So and you had to really, in Civil War, especially what we ended up seeing in the final project, you had to bring someone in who had
he's the same director that does John Wick.
Oh,
so there you go.
Some John Wick fight scenes, bro.
All John Wicks.
I know. I'm just saying, I forgot about John Wick. Yeah. I did not, because I was that guy. I could not understand the ironic hipness of Keanu Reeves, that he and then stuff like that. It's the same thing. I don't get the Nick Cage thing. I like Nick Cage. Okay, he's a good actor. I don't get the ironic hipness of Nicolas Cage, and whatnot. I like almost everything that Nick Cage does. I like almost everything that Keanu Reeves does. But it's what turned me off initially to John Wick. It was like, oh my God, it's the greatest movie that ever was created. I'm like, you're
basically a hipster.
It was the
hipster.
No, it was the hipsters that were all into John Wick and freaking.
No, you were the guy like, oh, I'm not gonna watch that movie because everybody's into that movie.
But I did watch it because I was like, I am a cinephile. I enjoy watching movies from both. I like to be watching from an entertainment standpoint, and I also watch it from an art standpoint. And John Wick, to me, over delivered on both. So for anybody who's listening to this podcast who's never seen it, we're at the point now where both Senator Organa, Obi-Wan, and Master Yoda have all come to the realization that there's twins, that Padme was carrying twins. And this is where we realized, because we knew it's Padme and Anakin. We had to find out, where did Luke and Leia come from? And I remember seeing this movie just not understanding, because they kept talking about Padme being pregnant. It was insinuated it was only one child. It wasn't, literally, for me, the naivety kicked in, and I'm like, oh shit, it's Luke and Leia. Like, it didn't dawn on me, because they, for an entire movie, don't deal with this is the part that pisses off a lot of people. She just nonchalantly delivers these two twins.
Luke,
Luke,
Leia.
Leia.
Yeah. I mean, it's like literally the last 10 minutes of the film, so they got
By the way,
shoehorn Luke and Leia in.
do we ever adjust the fact that in typical twins fashion, Leia was the firstborn? Like Leia should have been like Leia should have been just like what? Oh, wait, never mind. Luke did come out first. Never mind.
Yeah, Luke came first, yeah. But
I thought for some. Oh God, they're putting the Darth Vader costume on. It's one of the worst no's in all of the Star Wars.
it is what it is, my dude. It is what it is.
I will say this though. An interesting thing came about in the DVD extras. If you have a chance, if you have the DVD and the Blu-ray extras on this, to film this scene where he stands up as Darth Vader for the first time. We hear the iconic breathing sound. And now what's it called? Padme is slowly dying. When they do Anakin or Darth Vader is only standing up for seconds in this movie. He has no screen time other than him standing up, and right now where we find out that where she, obviously Padme just died. Is here we go. So he's standing him up. This was cool because
the breather ventilator.
Well, it's just because we never got to see a shiny Darth Vader. He was always a battle worn general, so to speak, or Darth Lord. Can you hear me? Now, it should be noted that they did get what's his name, James Earl Jones, to come back and do this role, which was kind of funny to hear him say, utter the words of these new characters. It seems in your anger you killed her. I could.
You're supposed to be the chosen one. We forgot about talk about that.
Alive, I felt it. Here comes the worst part. He breaks the shackles. It's like almost like he is Dr. Frankenstein's monster. I guess he kind of is. It is
at this point, huh? Okay, just say it.
Oh
no. Okay, so here's the thing that's hilarious to me, right? Here's the thing that's hilarious. Like when he comes to his realization that after killing multiple women and children, that he killed his women and possibly his children. I mean, I know there's supposed to be this overarching theme of the story, and we're gonna get to that, but those only work when the story is good.
Yeah.
Right here, not really. It's just hilarious to me that, like, oh, if we only could have seen this coming, Padme, if your character was, I don't know, written better, and not given only maybe 5-10 minutes of screen time total, but here we are. No.
Going back to my point, so there is that scene where Darth Vader is in full costume. That's not digital. I mean, it's it does look like it, but they did have someone on set as Darth Vader in full costume. And according to the DVD extras and the Blu-ray and the behind the scenes, it was Hayden Christensen. Hayden wanted to play the role, and they figured, well, once the mask is on, we don't need the main actor. And he insisted on playing Darth Vader. Yeah, and he walked on set, and it was, any of us would have just goofed off and like, we're kids, But we had him. They had him come on set, and they said it was like dead silent. Like it was just like people knew how important that scene was going to be.
Yeah.
And then they fucked it up. Sorry, there's my one F bomb for the show.
Mm. Let's go. Wait. So, okay. So we're at the end of episode 3 now, and we
Yes.
see the duration of the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin. How do you feel about you were supposed to be the chosen one? You were my friend. Like,
That's
what?
the problem. That's the problem that I have with this whole movie was that you were supposed to be the chosen one, and yet here they are. And okay, the necklace is that from the first one? I always forget.
I
Is
forgot.
that is what did Anakin give that to her in the first movie?
I think so.
Okay. I will say this was kind of cool. Now all of a sudden everybody's in their imperialistic outfits. There's the construction of the Death Star. There is what looks to be Grand Moff Tarkin. Very easily could have been a young, very because he got the sunken in face. Oh yeah, they're okay. They did have another scene with Darth Vader upright. Okay, I thought that was the only scene. That's the problem I had with the whole trilogy was you were supposed to be the chosen one. You were supposed to bring balance to the force. Like he was supposed to help eliminate Sith, not become one. Yet all of the things that led up to it was you were supposed to be the chosen one. Yet Yoda in the first one says, I sense much fear in you. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. So you saw it. You see him become emotional, where the Jedi are supposed to be unemotional. You see him become emotional in the second one, and then you see him flip in episode 3, and it's like, and you deny him a seat initially on the Jedi Council. It's like you sit there and say you were supposed to be the chosen one, yet you denied him for 3 movies, and it's like,
2 movies, basically.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, but at the same time, my biggest thing about this whole freaking thing of him of specifically the downfall of Anakin Skywalker was the sheer fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi was a terrible freaking teacher. Period.
Yeah. He does his best teaching from afar over the course of the next 20, 30 years.
Well, and also not only that, but like just from the aspect of like how much screen time do they have together? All of the movies.
Little to none.
Exactly. And so it's to me, it felt like the relationship between them, right? That was because he also says you were my brother, Anakin, in the end, right? After he says you are the chosen one, you were my brother, Anakin. Like, really?
Well,
bro,
okay. How much time do they spend? How much time do they spend with each other in the Clone Wars, though?
A lot more time together.
Okay, so maybe they have that leg to stand on, and credits.
But at the same time, like it's more so like for somebody at the time. This is again 2005, between episode 2 and episode 3, where people like you were like, I don't want to watch animes. I don't want to watch cartoons.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this. Right? This is on Cartoon Network. Cartoons. I don't want to watch that. Like I'll just wait for the movies and see that. To me, if I was from the aspect of like having somehow they built a relationship right off screen for 3 years, and there's no semblance between a relationship between a brother bond between Anakin and Obi-Wan, then to me that scene, the end scene, felt like, dude, you were okay with. You look like you just when he first came out the speeder, right after getting onto Padme's ship, coming out like, oh, what's up? Like we just had sex for about 3 hours. What's up, dude? Like, what's up? Like, and then you have Anakin like, you what? You're with him? Like it's granted, yeah, episode 3 hasn't aged well. And the storytelling hasn't aged well. It's just for me, it felt more like the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan, which is supposed to be pivotal in the point where like, all right, cool, them breaking up, Anakin and Obi-Wan basically creating Darth Vader as we know now, should have been a very heart-wrenching moment. But we didn't have that because they spent literally no time together on screen the last 3 movies. And that was the thing. You were supposed to have a master teaching his disciple how to basically act. okay, then he was vengeful and he was angry that he didn't get a spot on on the Jedi Council.
Yeah.
Why? Because he was impulsive. There was a lot of emotions going into him, and there's a lot of these things, a lot of stuff that Yoda said that you dude, no, you can't be here yet. Wait your time. You're still really young, very very young, and you have a lot of raw emotions going through you. Yeah, and then for me, the nuances here should have been that there should have been way more scenes between both between Ian McGregor as well as Hayden Christensen,
Oh
because
yeah.
we've seen throughout the whole Star Wars series, right, that you have to have two of your stars on screen together to have some semblance of character. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if Ian McGregor was there and Anakin was just there, just be a dumbass mannequin and just bounce off these dumb idiotic kids jokes to Obi-Wan, that would have been a better they would have some better scenes there,
Yeah.
rather than like just 30 minutes of Anakin looking off in the distance and just having a blank face and him going, I kill women and children for the third time today, Padme.
You're never gonna live that down, are you?
Hell no.
Well, that does
Ugh.
bring episode 3 and the prequel trilogy to a close. It is fun to go back and watch. Oddly enough, and I just saw it here. Okay, so I'm watching it on Apple TV, right? I'm gonna scroll down real quick. Well, shoot, it already went away. This got 80% Rotten Tomatoes. This got an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
How many
Oh my!
reviews total though?
Oh, well, they're probably counting it over a period of time, probably on
Yes.
modern and stuff like that. But that is unbelievable. I mean, people have said this is the best one of the 3.
Well, if you look at the well, again, if that's not a
That's not
high
saying a
bar.
lot. It's not saying a lot.
It's not a high bar to stand on.
It,
Then if
and it could be, knowing what I know now, it could be that this was well liked because it was coming on the heels of the Clone Wars. So maybe some reviewers were watching it with rosy colored glasses, um, having watched the Clone Wars prior to this movie. And it also could be that it's the climactic ending,
yeah,
and it had a little bit of tug of, like you said, had a little bit of the nostalgia in it with Chewbacca, with Luke and Leia being announced and stuff like that. So, having rewatched those 3, I would have to actually say that of the 3, I almost would say Attack of the Clones is better because there's such a good story there that just they left a lot of them. They left a little bit of meat on the bones. Better acting, little bit better writing. The core story is there. The idea is there. It just was not executed properly. Different director. You got George Lucas, who was too close to his baby, and a little bit better flushing out the characters. But there is genius in this trilogy. It just was poorly handled.
like the expectations in having a second trilogy was just, I think at that point, just a little bit too much. Specifically, where it was to the point where, like, you were given so much money, right, to do your thing, that the passion is somewhat there, but I feel like it got caught up in bureaucracy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, just too much of this notion, too much of that notion. Like, oh, we got so much money of this, so therefore we have to use this studio instead, and that's why some of your freaking CGI looks freaking horrendous. But like, it feels like the heart of the actual trilogy wasn't really there. They were supposed to expound into so many different arcs. They were trying to do way too damn much in a world in a world at the time where we had we had the only thing that had universes were comic books.
Yeah.
or ongoing universe. And in this sense, even though they did have basically, even though they did have basically the extended universe at that time in the use of books and in the comic, what, 20 years before then,
Yeah.
right? There was nothing before that, not really. Video game, sure, but like overall storyline that actually had to do with full on continuity, there wasn't. And they wanted to expand on so many different things, and that's what they did with episode 2 with the Clone Wars. But after that, man, like it's just like it was ambitious, and they failed on so many parts for me. The biggest one was basically just having, I'm all about character, you know that. And so the biggest thing for me is that when you have all these characters and their kids are basically greatness, you expect greatness from the parents. And Padme became nobody. She was greatness, and then she became nobody, and that hurt. And then you had Luke, no, not Luke, and then you had freaking Anakin, who came from nothing, right?
Yeah.
And then him from in 2 and 3 was like a brat, and a little bit more of a, and a little bit less mature brat, a little bit more mature brat from 2 and 3, and a psychopath, absolutely. But like I don't know, man. Like 3, action wise, cool. It was there. I had to okay with it. I still feel like number 1 was good if I just close my eyes to everything, to everything from freaking Jar Jar,
Yeah.
right? If I just close my eyes and just think of something else. But
That's true.
overall, yeah. But overall, like because one, I think Liam Neeson really helped me out a lot in liking episode 1. I think that was the biggest thing. Like he was the most established act at the time. He was the most well-rounded actor at the time too, for me. And I felt like he should have been there a lot more. But then, of course, he played the Obi-Wan Kenobi role in the first episode.
No, I see that. Well, that again brings the sequel trilogy to an end, and now we get to fill in the gaps a little bit, ladies and gentlemen.
Mhm.
Over the next 2 weeks, we are going to sort of deviate from the Skywalker saga
Mhm.
to an extent. We're going to tell the stories in between the stories. We will be doing a show next week on Solo, a Star Wars story, which tells the story of course, Han Solo and how
We're
he
doing Solo
meets.
first. Shit. Okay.
Let's get
I
it out
gotta
of the way.
I gotta break my. I gotta. Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
have you never seen it? Have you?
Oh God, no.
It is, keep those expectations, and I think it will over deliver. Um, it's tough. I don't think the actor who played Han, just from a look standpoint, I think that he executed the role correctly. It just doesn't look like it. And this is a movie that is supposed to take place. It does not actually take the. I don't think it gives a defined timetable, but we do know it takes place after Rebels. I know that much, and that I can't say
So
why without spoiling the movie. But knowing what happens in Clone Wars and Rebels, this movie I know for a fact takes place after the events of those two storylines. So I know that I believe this takes place after the events of Episode 3. Um, so it's in between. We do know that Rogue One, which we will do in 2 weeks, takes place just before A New Hope, and then of course after Rogue One we will do A New Hope, Empire, um, and Return of the Jedi. And again, for those who are expecting us to do The Mandalorian, which does take place timeline wise between the
yeah.
events of Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, we're not. We're going to do the TV show, so to speak, on the way back.
Quick thing, you might just realized.
Yes, sir.
I was actually kind of just doing this a mock up, right? A mock up, right? Like right up to something else we're gonna do. I just realized it's about 2005 around this time, right? The
Yep,
movie
yep.
came out. I just remember that the reason why Anakin's that way, mopey, emo, and dark,
Yep.
because mopey, emo, and dark, set the air on fire during that time. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. My Chemical Romance, all that boy came around that time. So Anakin was very much a child of his era. I totally
Probably.
forget. I totally forgot because early 2000s we had the kid. 2002 was about My Chemical Romance starting to come out. Then 2005, definitely My Chemical Romance, Fallout Boy, and a lot of the emo bands of the era became very prevalent, and so they helped shape a lot of science fiction and just overall like fiction at the time. We had Twilight, we had all that bunch of that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's the reason why uh a lot of the times freaking Anakin was brooding a lot in the movies. He was brooding a lot. Oh, I can't help but think about darkness and fear and shame, being ashamed and being lonely. I need to go off in a corner and just write songs, sad songs to myself. So yeah, it was very much time, and I say this jokingly because I was that kid. So there you go.
I was not.
Like I grew up in the emo era, of
It's
course.
all good.
Yeah.
Well,
There
guys,
you go.
thank you so much for putting up with us over the course of the last 3 weeks of
Yep.
this prequel trilogy. We promise it will only get better from here. We have the originals just around the corner, but I know that some of you guys are going to enjoy um, Rogue One and Solo. I think
Maybe.
the other thing too is I believe both of those movies have shorter run times. So
Hmm.
I'm sure that the people over at the beautiful cover. I left my pull list upstairs. Actually, no,
Smart
did I?
man.
Did
Smart
I?
man.
Nope, I
Smart
left it upstairs.
man. Smart man.
I did
That's
get
it.
yes, I did get
That's all I'm saying.
crossover. I got cover A of crossover. I did actually. I think I have my picture. At least I don't have the pic. What's up? Go ahead.
Uh, Send me a picture of your cover A. Don't read from it. Just send me a picture of it. Okay, eventually,
Okay.
because there's a secret cover A that people forgot about.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I'm like okay, the cover A for Last Ronin.
Mhm.
Did we get the actual cover A or did we get the special cover A, the
I
oversized?
don't. We got the oversized.
I understand, but from what I've done some research on, I don't think cover A is the oversized.
It should be oversized.
Okay. Well, I mean, I got no, mine's oversized. I
Yeah,
haven't had a
same.
chance to put them into the. I finally did get my golden era bag and boards. We'll see if that works with the Detective 1027 and some of the trade paperbacks. I think it should fit in. I should think the Last Ronin will fit just perfectly, but I'll do a test run on that. Maybe I'll post that online for you guys who are collector fiends. All right, guys. Well, next week again, Solo, a Star Wars story. They tell the story of Han Solo and uh, guy can
Uh
the other guy,
oh yeah, and Mando. No,
Lando
no.
Calrissian.
Lando Calrissian, as well
Lando
as
Calrissian, which by the
as one.
way,
Yeah,
he was born to play. Donald
yeah.
Glover was born to play that role.
Da-
He looks
Daniel
so good.
Glover, Daniel Glover is awesome in general, but yeah,
He's a
and
great.
we also feature possibly the greatest next girl next door to have ever come to being. We have a one. I forgot her actual name. She played Daenerys Targaryen
Oh
in
yeah, she's
Game of Thrones.
great. She is great in this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
So, anyways, guys, I'm Kevin Pill, the voice of reason. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Voice of Reason 23 on all social media platforms. Also, follow our show
Yep.
online at PS Comics I Love You on Twitter. I'm sorry, on Instagram and Facebook. PS Comics I Love You, the letter U,
You on
on
Twitter.
Twitter. PS Comics I Love You at gmail.com. You can get a hold of us. Also, go over to anchor.fm/PS Comics I Love You to find out how you can support the show and get involved on
Yep.
all of the major platforms. Also, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more coming soon. By the way, the Dark King, aka Darth Kambakungan, the Sith Lord.
Jericho. Yeah, guys, I'm the Dark King, Jericho Bakun. Thank you very much for just listening to our our sweet, sultrous voices of the last couple of weeks. Thank you very much, guys. And he is the one, the only, the Jedi Lord. I say Lord because there hasn't been a Jedi Lord in so long. Jedi Lord himself,
Kevin Pillow, voice of reason.
There you go.
All right, guys, have a great one. We will we'll have a better flex pool next week. Maybe we get some good stuff coming down the pipeline. So, all right, guys, enjoy. As we always say, peace.
Do we really? Peace.
This guy over here. All right, guys, have a good night.
Hey.